Gathered masses, the minions, the great and the small, welcome to this moment, the moment you've been waiting for, the beginning of the all hands face up ignition hand study review. Thank you for coming.
All right, I'll go first. It should go fold, fold, fold. This queen jack is a raise. If you missed this raise, it wouldn't be terrible. 7-8 suited is going to have some three betting against it, like 12%. Like not high. It's not a jump in there. But if you're somebody who wants to get your three bet numbers up to Joey levels and Nick levels, you take the 7-8 suited. I think at some point in the next week or so, I'm going to do a session where I take every three bet there is and just see what happens.
That's always a good idea. Question for you. Are there any particular filters on these, or is it just
This is happy. This is unfiltered.
this is unfiltered good session versus unfiltered bad session, and we're
Yeah,
watching unfiltered good session.
Right. And there's one, this is a short session, and if we get through it, we'll go to being unhappy.
Okay.
But he should raise, so there's that. And then 10-6 suited is against the hijack. 10-6 suited is close to a call at 2.5. I think it calls a lot. I mean, no, I think it calls
Heads up or multi-way, right? Heads up?
yeah, except multi-way. Multi-way, get out of it. So let's see what happens. There's the raise. It is to 2.5. There's the call. And I think this call knocks the 10-6 suited out, but without it, the 10-6 suited is in. So that's worth checking. Let's take a look at that right now. We are in the world of GTO Wizard.
I'm going with fold in both scenarios.
I think it's full.
There's your hijack raise and your big blind with your 10-6 suited. Oh, you're right. It was 10-7.
Cuspy AF.
I was picturing 9-6. You're right. So it's just a fold. It's a boring fold. All right.
Yeah,
And now, yeah, you're absolutely right. But this 7-8 suited in our world of no calls doesn't exist, but it's not a terrible call, you know.
No, I mean, if you look at the EV, it's probably pretty close.
Okay. Yep. Flop's good. Queen jack should do a lot of checking out of position anyway, and on this board should do a lot of checking.
I would argue this is probably a range check.
Yeah. In the simplified world of 2016, Jonathan Little, this is a clear check. 7-8 is marginally made on 3-9-7. We can afford to go forward. The solver obviously will bet it some. There's some protection in there, and he goes for it.
I don't know if the solver bets at all here.
You can take a look. I expect you'll get it. I mean, you got to use a sim that has the call, that has the limp, that has the flat.
Yeah, you're not gonna. Yeah, it's good points. But
Yep.
It's hard to check.
2 overcards, backdoor to the good straight. Okay. Now definitely check. And now call a bet. But not that bet. So I guess well played by Jack Queen. But it didn't work. That is a strong call there. All right. That was me. Mike, you're next.
All right. Ace queen open and raise and take it.
And the other thing that might happen.
Oh, well, if we're going to talk about what might happen, shit, there's all kinds of shit that might happen. Based on 6-4's play the last hand, he might call. Ace 3 might call.
Yeah. I think we're only looking at the 6-4 and I think maybe this 3 in the early position will knock him out. And the fact that it's 6-4, not 6-5. Yep. There we go. All right, skate.
All right, open, cutoff, hijack. It's gonna open, defend, next to act, and big blind defend as well.
Okay. So you think it's going to go ace jack will raise, 5-5 will call, and then the queen 10 will come along.
Queen 10
Yeah.
should fold to a call. If the button calls, I think the queen 10 needs to fold,
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
these
especially to that size.
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So I wonder, so this affects heroes, the value of heroes fives. I think now heroes fives are leaning towards fold. We just,
I'm gonna fold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
I'm just
just
gonna
don't
fold.
have.
I'm just gonna fold to this. Just folding.
Yeah,
Now,
I
if
agree.
queen 10 comes along,
fold.
it becomes, I think, maybe even worth it multi-way.
Yeah.
But we don't know that.
Yeah.
So I
this
think
is
I would
real-
fold this to this sizing.
Right. This is the real session. So the data we have on this guy is one hand that he folded. I don't know where this call is coming from. This is a bad call. I mean, yeah, we're deep enough, but that I don't approve of this play at all.
He's gonna, anytime someone goes for this, now this is, I think, important because, and I'm curious if you guys have seen it, when someone chooses to use an oversized RFI, they don't have very many out of position checks on flop.
Yeah,
And I'm curious if you guys have seen that as well.
I agree.
So
Except
like
it's
when someone decides to go hard,
massive
and go to like
traps.
4 or 5 RFI, they're gonna see that.
The exception is I've seen it with traps.
That's true.
Okay. I
Non-believer,
have 5 of hearts. I have the huge 5 of hearts.
you have 2 back doors.
I can't continue. Yet I do.
Let's see if he
Oh,
doesn't give a fuck here.
now I'm dead. Now he pulls the trigger and it's over. No, he
But
doesn't.
To one line, yeah.
Well played,
And-
sir. This is the happy session.
Right. The question is, do I turn it into a bluff?
I don't think this, I think this hand is too good to turn into a bluff facing a check.
Yeah.
I mean, you're beating all of his ace X broadways, right?
Yes. Yeah. I do not approve of this play. I don't know who did that. Right. Skate. That was Skate's hand. Yeah, Skate. Larry.
Hey, for just real quick for the group, just out of curiosity, that queen 10 in the big blind, assume cutoff opens for a typical size 2.5, and there's no callers. What, before you show the results, what do you think queen 10 off should do there?
Fold.
I think it feels cuspy, right? So I think we're gonna have some, we don't have good blockers.
Oh no, wait a minute. Queen 10 against Queen 10 against the cutoff. No, that is oh no, that's got some folds in it. The cutoff is the cutoff raises Queen Jack raises about half the time. Ace Jack, King Jack, Queen Jack, and King Queen are about 50% raises. King 10 is about 25% raise and call, and Queen 10 is gonna mix raises, mix calls and folds. And I think, and so is Jack 10. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think it's a cuspy hand.
See, we're right.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of people think that it's just a pure defend, and it's not.
It has so many bad qualities.
Yep. 50, 50, 50, 50 each. And then this. It's a jaunty little hat.
Even Jack 10 off?
Now, Jack 10 off plays more often, but it still has folds.
So
And
I
I
think
think-
the way to figure out those hands, Skate, is that at this stack depth, they just don't have a lot of the qualities we were talking about last time. Like, they're not suited.
Right.
Jack 10
And
is,
there's zero, I mean, you could fold these 100% of the time and only lose board, GTO board coverage. You're not losing any EV on the particular hand.
yeah.
So I imagine 200 big blinds deep. It's gonna play around the same.
I would imagine
Should
too.
probably be worse.
Yeah,
Worse.
it's gonna
These are
be
worse.
worse. It has less implied odds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you're
Now
right.
with-
Once the button calls.
Then
Boom,
it should completely
all
go away.
nonsense is gone. I mean,
But
all,
look, to me, the important thing is that we call suited gappers sometimes because our implied odds now against two ranges are significant.
we stay in, but we were calling all these suited gappers pure, and we were calling not the 10-6, but Jack 8, 10-7, 9-6.
Yeah. Good point.
this whole, I mean, look at how wide this tail is, in the middle of the tail. Look, at this. Jack 8, 10, 7, 9, 6. It isn't until 8, 5 you start folding them.
Yeah.
And then that gets squeezed down to some gappers. And no two gappers, just to
Mhm.
put that in. Again, just so we see the change.
This is
Goes away.
multi-way, okay.
Just from a call. Yep. There is no such thing as pre-flop pot odds in a multi-way pot in No Limit. Exaggeration. All right. Here we go. Larry's hand.
Okay, so let me just look at this for a second. Um. Yeah, it just should, 8-2 gets a walk.
Should happen.
So let's keep an eye on doing 3-3-6.
Where do we want this ace nine offsuit to come in? I mean, this is too early, but where do you want to see it first?
I think you see a little bit
Hijack,
of
a little bit of
cutoff.
hijack.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was cut off, but that's fine.
Hijack is not pure. Hijack's got some. Just to show it to you. You miss it in the hijack, you're okay. Cut off, it's pure,
Yeah.
down to ace eight. Yep. And in the old poker coaching charts, it wasn't even in the cutoff. Cutoff was ace 10 in the old poker coaching 3 big blind charts. All right. He raises, and given that raise,
Okay, yeah, so he should get it. He should take
Yep.
it.
you should just take it. Good for him. Arcturus,
Yeah. Walk.
could be. This king 5 can open. Remember that. It doesn't have to, but this is a in the low jack, this is a non-trivial amount of king 5. This is the matter of fact, this is about 75% king 5 in the low jack.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean he's gonna find it, and this is too early for queen 7. Yeah, the hijack, although there was a sliver of queen 6 here. Now let's see what they do. He finds it as a limp.
Yeah.
We don't really have, there's no hands that can attack this limp.
No, this
Yeah.
is just choosing the worst of both worlds. Yeah, the jack 6 just gets to realize equity he never should have.
Mm-hmm.
Here he goes.
Sure.
And he realized equity. He got
Mm-hmm. Stubborn.
what do you want to
Minbet.
yeah, I know you would never play at this, Arcturus, but as played, you walk
Minbet.
into what do you want to do?
Minbet. One
Min
big
bet.
one.
Yeah.
Nice. He turned from value bet into almost a bluff.
And this is what Larry has pointed out before, is that he thinks that we see a lot of people limp, they hit any part of the flop and they bet big. Because the absolute, not the best, not the size of the pot of the bet to the pot, but just the absolute size of the bet to the game is normal. If this had been a raised pot, this would be, a half pot bet.
Mm-hmm.
So they seem to do this. This seems to be a common theme in limper in the land of limping. All right. It's me. Fold. This king 4 suited here is never a raise. That's too early. In the actual chart, there is a sliver of this king 4, I think. No, I think there isn't. I think it's only in the low jack. I mean, in the first position, it has a sliver of a sliver, but I'm just folding it. We'll look at that. 8-9 here. This can open, and king queen suited can 3-bet him, and I can call that 3-bet sometimes. All right, let's see what happens. There's the raise. There's the re-raise. And this 8-9 can call sometimes. And this time I do. Yep. And now it's over. Check. Bet. Fold. All right. Let's verify this stuff. We were 9-handed or 8-handed here. We were we're second position 9-handed. So he's here. And just to see if there's any of that king four, there's no king four there, but in under the gun, I think it had it. No, it doesn't. All right, I'm just full of it. There's no king four, there's king five. So there's the fold. I come in the hijack, was it with the 8-9? 1, 2, 3, no, in the low jack, good, because the 8-9. No, it's the 7-8 goes away in the hijack. All right, so low jack, I'll take my little 8-9 there. There it is. I choose it. When the hijack gets on me to 7.5, it's a little smaller with his king queen suited. Back on me, the 8-9 is a pure call. Now he went to 8. I think I still call. So I think this is good. And the thing that I said last week that I'm just going to spit out there that I believe is that rather than thinking of this Jack 10 as the Jack 10 interferes with various things in his range, and that's why you fold it, but 10-9 and 9-8 and 8-7 and 7-6 don't, and that's why you call them. I think it's possible that this Jack 10 is here because you end up on the turn with an equal amount of all of your suited connectors. You don't want to be in the range that you take to the flop. You don't want to be too heavy in suited connectors. And if you called all your Jack 10s like your 10-9s, you'd have too many of them relative to your good hands. That's what I think is going on here. I don't think it is blocker oriented. I think it's size of how often you did it pre-flop. All right, that's my speech. And you
I
should
was
not,
surprised to see how much king queen suited folded. I thought it was going to be a pure 3-bet, and it's actually should fold it most of the time. That was surprising.
the king queen suited.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
you
No,
mean after this.
yeah, there. Okay, it is a pure 3-bet. That's
It
what I
is
thought. For some reason, when you were clicking through, it looked like it wanted to
Oh.
fold.
No.
So
this-
no, good. Then my instincts were right then.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're right. And the king queen, and we don't fold our king queen suited in 8. We don't fold this part of the Broadway to this. But we fold the offsuit branches and we can fold the ace queen. All right. Here we go. So that's a little speech, and don't listen to me because I'm the one who just lost 8.5 big blinds. All right. Mike,
All right. Oh, there the king jack is low jack +1 there. I think that might have a frequency of raising. I think I fold it in that position. If they do fold, king jack and the low jack is pure.
Mhm.
And that should raise and take it. So if either of those king jacks raise, it should be a raise and take it.
this is represented. It's a sliver. It's 12.5%. And I take it and it works. And here is that range. There's your king jack. I said 12.5. It's
pure in the low jack in GTO Wizard.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pure in the low jack.
Okay.
Not after I've raised it. So this is me here with, let's just go to strategy. It's more like 35%. Oh, I was thinking of this one. Here's the sliver. Yeah, this is
Okay.
good. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's a situation where if I have king jack in that position, it will greatly be determined by who's behind me.
Yeah.
Who's in the blinds, who's on the button, and then how much 3-betting there is going on.
That's good. Yep. All right, skate.
Skate gets a good one.
Yeah, wow. Fold around to aces.
Very likely.
Yeah.
10, 1,
Uh,
2. Queen 10 is not, Queen 10 in the hijack is not a mandatory raise. It's 50%-ish.
Yeah, it mixes. And it's broken stack. Oh, he folded it.
You folded it. Yep. There's your Queen 10 in the hijack.
I thought a broken stack would play that hand.
Here we go. Here's your Queen 10 in the hijack, mixing. And here's your sad set aces. Oh, well, at least that happens. At least he gets that.
So this is the question here. You guys have aces here. Do you mix or do you immediately polarize?
Just raise.
Mix? You mean like just don't raise?
Yep, that's what I meant.
Yeah, no, never.
Okay.
Since the wizard allows calls in the small blind, let's see. Never.
I don't think Wizard ever does it.
Yeah, never.
We
Because you
have
do-
just, we have too much
you-
urgency because of SPR to
Yeah, and you
get a
can
bigger pot.
touch raising here, you know.
Okay, we're a
And you
trap
don't
free
need-
group.
Right, and you really don't need to protect your check back range when, you know, your checking range in the situation. You're in position and he has shown no strength.
Yeah,
I
I
mean-
mean, I think at this stack depth, our urgency to increase the,
Yeah.
get stacks in the middle is great, so.
And look, I mean, look at the best hands. You have some king, queen, some ace eight. Well, no, I think that's not true. That's not true. There's all this. There's some ace jack. So yeah, there's some protection of the check back range, but it's pretty condensed. And terrible.
That's
Not
what villain does.
It's pretty bottom heavy. That's what I meant to say. All right. So there it is. To
That's what she
five,
said.
and that's over. All right. And the 5 is completely allowed. Totally reasonable thing. Right. Skate, I think. Is that who's got it? No, Skate had the aces. Larry.
Yeah, I think we do all suited aces here, even early position. I think maybe not ace two, but I think this one calls in. So,
Uh,
Hero's gonna open here.
Yeah.
And then, King 10 against this EP, I think this is a fold.
So you're right. King 10 is should be a fold here. I don't expect him to fold, but it should be. And in this first position, no ace deuce and actually very little ace 3. It's ace 4 here. So to show you what that looks like real quick.
Sure.
It starts, it's very little ace 3, then a bunch of ace 3, and then all ace 3, and then all suiteds all
Okay.
the way. That's your aces down here. Because this one's clubs, I would fold it. If I was following my frequency thing, and if I was in a mood, we'll see what I was. I was in a mood.
Okay,
There
so
I
you
go.
should,
Know
You
the
should take
frequencies.
this.
Not to do them. There's the fold and the king 10.
it's gonna
Not a
defend.
surprise.
Yeah.
This is how off that king 10 is. Way the hell off.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty common, right? So that.
Yeah.
What we're seeing is that people's defend ranges are not elastic to position.
Yes. Or they are inelastic. Yes, no, you're right. Yes, they are. Right, good. Right. words.
Inelastic, not elastic.
Okay.
This is gonna be an interesting hand, so.
Yeah.
Let's see, what does villain check?
You should check range.
Well,
But he
we're not
does.
sure he's gonna do it. So you're in an interesting spot.
Yeah.
So. I think in this situation, you can do a lot of things. So this guy just bet big into you out of position.
Yeah.
And he's got, the SPR now is 10, right? Or sorry, the pot is 10, so SPR 7. He just said he loved his hand.
Yeah.
I think I would default to Nuffle here and plan on calling flop.
So
I
the
think
only thing I
there's
can do,
certainly a reason to raise here, but I think I would call flop.
the nice thing about this hand is I believe that the only bad thing to do here is fold.
I
I can
agree.
raise. I can do an insane jam over it. Wouldn't be the worst. I mean, I can call. What I expect to do here is I expect I'm going to call because this bet was so big.
This is an interesting spot. What are other people doing here? My default here, well, Nuffle would say, essentially Nuffle has no raises on flop.
Yeah.
Here, I think we have myriad of options. I would defer to call here. I would probably call in. What would anybody else do? This is just an interesting spot to be in.
Yeah,
Um,
I would probably call more often than raise, although I'm tempted to raise. But this big size, he's going pretty polar here. So you're going to cooler a lot of other flushes.
That's a good point. Yeah, let's think about what his whole range is here. Well, it's hard to know because it's a dunker in a spot where you shouldn't dunk using the wrong size. But you're right. And I asked that question also because maybe I feel like I slow play too much.
Well, we don't think we're ahead very often here. We're ahead sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. So the other thing to think about is I think what's happening here and what we see often is when a dunker can be very face up with what they perceive as the value of their hand,
Yeah,
which I think is happening here.
yeah. We are massively ahead of all flush draws, and we probably don't want another flush draw to fold. We would be perfectly fine to have the king, jack flush draw, the king nine flush draw stay in, even though he has a nine and a king to beat us.
Yeah, agreed.
We also are perfectly happy that if we raise here, we want to raise to like a bunch. We want to raise to 20 or 16 at least, because we
Do
also
you?
don't mind him folding if he has value here. And if he pushes all in, we go fine. Let's run our equity. We just don't mind if all the chips go in on the flop here.
Yeah, so I think
I don't know. I think if you raise, I think a small size is preferred,
And then check back to
although
turn.
I'm not too certain about that.
yeah, who knows? I mean, this is a, we're in the wild here.
So let's
I mean-
raise to like 12 or 14.
I think that probably is better. I think like a
Right.
3x.
If he jams, we call. If he calls and the turn comes a blank to us, we just check back and pick up and get to the river for cheap, right?
Yeah, I think you have a good point. I think, yeah, I think check. I think raise, blank, check, assess river makes sense. The
I
other
think
thing
I-
that's going on here is that I think the advantage of calling is that he's giving you unsolicited information that you weren't going to get before, right?
Yes.
So he's telling you now he really likes his hand. Now, yeah, I think there also might be a protection element in here because he sees that there's draws.
Yeah.
But he's telling you he really likes his hand, and he's also going to give you additional information when we simply call on flop and see what
Yeah.
he does on turn. I mean, he essentially is screwing himself because he doesn't have to give you information out of position, but he has chosen to.
And I think that I expect that because of the four big blinds here, I expect that I'm going to default to a call here.
Yeah, I think that's probably the better play.
Yep. And now,
So now he's giving you information, right? Because he's not polarized. He's gone for half pot, which is a very common line here.
Yep.
So, I would knuffle this. I would go 18, knowing that I can call most check raises.
although I don't love a check raise here because I've only got one card to come.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
not a check raise either. It would be a bet, 3-bet.
bet three bet.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess it would be. Sorry.
Yes.
So I would go 18 here. I'd
Okay.
go 19.
I'm sure I'm going to call. I'm not arguing against your logic. I'm just sure what my logic was at the time. Was
Yeah.
that if I'm
Also, Larry, I don't think Nuffle would raise here. I think it would call.
What's really? Why is that?
I'm pretty sure that any pair, like if you would raise if you had air or a draw.
Okay, yeah, you have weak value here, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're facing a 50% bet. Yeah, I see your point. We've got showdown. You've got a good point.
And now I think he's made it clear that he is not on a flush draw, and I block some of the flush draws for him to be on. And it's time to go away, but I don't. He's made it clear I should go away here. I should remind you, though, we are happy in this session.
Well, you have bad blockers.
I got bad blockers. Yeah. Yeah. He's giving me good odds for this. You know, how often do I have to be right? But I don't think I am.
That's true.
Yeah. So there you go.
Nice hand dunker.
Well done. Well done. Okay. Arturus.
Ace ten raise is queen three bet. Ace ten, I don't know, call.
extra big. Does not stop the 3-bet. And
Call.
he does call. And I think he probably needs to. Forgetting, ignoring his size for a second. When he raises here and he gets re-raised, there's the re-raise, right? Yeah. There's his re-raise. Oh, there's a lot of folding.
EP versus EP.
EP versus EP, yeah. Take the same thing and let's just see if we do it against something like this. Yeah. Quite different and just move to low jack and now it's that. Yeah. EP is a
So-
beast.
Okay, so what do you want to do in game if a bunch of nits free betting us? We are
Fold even
jacks?
more. They don't have the bluffs. You can fold even more.
So what do we do? We call queens or jacks or what?
Oh, here? I'm not
Yeah.
folding. No, I'm not folding these.
No, not versus button, versus
Right. Under the gun raise. There's the 3-bet. Here. I'm not folding. I'm not doing this fold. I should. I'm not.
No way.
Yeah, I'm just not. Even against the nitty, I'm just not. Maybe I should become a better player.
Oh wait, is it for oh
Scotty's making a stand.
what our call is? I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like 4-bet or fold spot.
Yeah.
Because our call is like so thin.
I mean, I don't like, I mean, I would like to learn that this fold here and take this away. I would like to learn to fold this ace 10 here. I'm not ready to learn to fold the queens and the jacks already here. Maybe in 6 months, I'll be a better player and learn that.
Okay.
But he does that. And what a world.
Check. Bet half or maybe even big. And I don't know. You tell me what sizing he should know.
He went
But-
perfectly reasonable. Third to a half is just fine. Fine for the situation, fine for the 3-betting situation, fine for this board, fine for his hand. This
Feels
board,
like he can bet big as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, and ace 10 folds.
this board misses this guy a lot. He doesn't even open 6s, 7s and deuces pure here. When he does, he may not, he could call, and then, you have to fold some of your over cards when you don't have the flush draw. Yeah, that seems good. Okay. Adam, you're up.
Alright, let's see here. We're gonna go fold the 4-10 and fold the ace 8. Looks like we should get to the ace queen on the button. Should be open and take it. Yeah,
But right in the heart of that R shape in our in what we expect to see from, oh, whoops, sorry. Just to bring up a range here of this shape that we see a lot of from the limpers. It's a lot of this in it. There's this area, there's this area, and there's this area. That's a lot of what we see from limpers.
Yeah.
All right, and it's right in there. He does it. Okay.
I would make this 5 in game.
Okay. Do you want to go any smaller because you're a short stack?
I mean, I saw that. Not really. I mean,
Okay.
probably should, but I wouldn't be in that spot, but I would
Yeah.
not size down, against his shorter stack because I'm fine making this hand, fewer streets.
But also notice, I'm not talking about the 70 big blind short stack. I'm talking about the 50 big blind short
Yeah,
stack.
no, I'm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would stay with probably 5.
That's good. I'm 4.5, but I don't have any argument about the difference. And he maybe sizes down because of stack, or maybe that's his sizing. We don't know. Did he do a 4 big? Is that the guy who did the 4 big blind open? No, that was this guy. Okay, here we go.
Okay,
This is bad
Yeah.
in every way. Every decision he's made has been bad so far.
oh, nice. I'm expecting this to go check. B50, fold. Okay, we're gonna,
Trappy. He's gotten trappy.
okay, alright.
If
So,
you trap here, I think the only reason you can trap here is with the ace of spades.
yeah, the ace of spades is a nice card to have, but
If you're gonna trap here.
yeah.
Don't know you need to.
Oh, boy, life keeps getting better.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta get some money in this pot, so I would probably bet, and I would bet like 6 or 7.
Gotcha. So I don't like necessarily the check back on the flop, but if you do it, now it seems like you almost have to check back again because he has nothing he can call with now.
Unless he gets like sticky with some underpair stuff, right? I mean, but either, like, if it's gonna be very hard for him to. I just don't know that you're gonna get much from this player anyways.
If
Not
he's sticky
sure.
with an underpair, though, it's easier to get the money on the river when he knows he's only facing one bet.
Maybe.
But this guy doesn't do it, and oh my
Oh,
god!
there we go, baby. Let's go.
Wow,
That's why you trap.
so many bad decisions.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
What size do we want to use here? I would be thinking that we were. I don't know what I would be thinking. A 3 would make some sense, I guess, from this guy. I don't know what 3x combos he has, but he has a bunch of stuff he shouldn't have. Because he limp called. I would think. I have really thick value. And I could possibly be up against a 3. I just jam it, I think.
Yeah, you can use a bunch of sizes here.
That makes sense.
Shoving's fine.
I was in a live game this year where the correct move, and it got argued, I mean, at the table, was for him to call. And it was this. This move is when it's a queen, who cares that you raised? A 3 can fold and probably, probably doesn't play this way. But if it does, it can fold. But 3-3 is in his range, and you invite to get stacked here. It's seeing monster in the bed, but it's got to do with the fact that it's not that you are usually lose. You almost always win this hand. But when you don't win this hand, you split and lose.
That sounds like a specious argument.
Okay, I'm good with it.
I mean,
There's-
he could have a number, so
Oh, but
you chose to trap?
There's that also.
Yeah,
I mean, my argument is just wrong. I am so wrong.
yeah, man, this guy's drunk.
Yeah, so this was
I mean, so when you choose to trap, right? Like you trap flop here.
Yeah.
Now, what does that result in villain's range? Him perceiving as value? Tens, jacks?
Remember, he limp pre. I mean, there's
Yeah.
jacks and 10s limp pre. I don't know.
Well,
This-
yeah, who knows? So, and the frequency of quads is so small.
Yeah.
That we can't build a strategy around his frequency of quads.
well, my argument is worse than specious. Because I was arguing why we weren't gonna get very much money from the raise, and so it was a waste of, a waste of risk. But
Yeah, I
when
see your
this
point.
This can only happen with a raise.
So the argument is that the risk of raising a position is not worth the reward.
That's what the argument was. By the guy who had the pocket 3s and stacked the other guy.
Yeah, I don't think that's, I think it's just not often enough to.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And the very fact that this can ever happen makes this a great bet.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
this may be rare, but so are threes. And this, we saw this happen.
I would argue this is one of the worst plays we've seen all year.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
It may be worse than that jam than the open jam of the queen four
Oh, yes, I remember that.
offsuit. It may be worse than that. I mean, numeric, yeah, wow. There you go.
Yep. Dare I say redonkulous.
Now, at this, if I remember correctly, either at this moment or at the next round is when my wife said to me, okay, it's time for dinner. And I said, okay, let me just play to the blind. And
Oh,
she-
no.
And she looked at me and I said, fine. And I walked away from the computer and started making dinner, but I left it on just to glance over till the blinds came. That's either on this or the next round, which will come into play later. When I look and I saw this hand and I go, I don't get to stay with this guy. Although I expected he's going to be leaving the table soon with that attitude.
Bad
But
face.
anyway, so there we go. All right. On me. Fold, 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 fold around. Just fold. Yep. Okay. Mike.
All right. The 4-5 might have tiny bit of sliver of raising. I don't do it there. King 10 low jack is a mix, and it would greatly depend on the players for me to raise it there. My randomization of it says fold. And then ace queen raise. Queen 10 is 50-50 3-bet or call.
Nice. Yep. Good. Okay. And then one other thing, this sliver of 5-4, about how big?
Oh, probably like maybe 7%.
Yeah,
Let's just look at that one. That one's right here. That is fold. That's this guy. And here's your 5-4.
I would argue 6, 7 maybe, but not.
7.5%. My God,
see.
what do you even play amateur?
Okay.
Great. All right, good. And he does not find it. The king 10 doesn't find it. So now easy raise, just like you said.
Fold call.
To the 3x, I think queen 10 wants to, ooh, maybe, I don't know if it wants to raise more now that it's a 3x instead of
I
just
don't know.
call. I think it might increase the 3-bet frequency. I don't know though.
I don't know either. Let's look at that. Let's look that up in this guy here. In this tool where we're going to compare at least like to like. So the raise came from
The
button. Right?
button.
There's our button 3-bet. And our big blind. Queen 10 is 58%. And when the
Yeah, looking at that, I think that's going to have a higher frequency than a 2.5.
and on the button, and when it does this, the queen 10 is
50-50 almost.
lower. So the larger bet made us polarize the queen 10 even more. We're 47 and we went up to what was 58, right?
Yeah.
So good instinct that it was more and not less. Okay. And he does the natural thing. The 3-bet is
Yeah,
unnatural
most people would do for sure.
Yeah.
and not wrong, but that's the expected thing. And now,
All right, if we're talking theory, the big blind might actually have some donks here, but they'll check. It will obviously have checks. Ace queen can check behind. I think it, and if it does bet, it's going to bet on a big size. I think no, it's going to check a lot, or I don't know. It might have a pretty good mix of sizes, including big bets and small bets.
I think it needs to small bet because the pair isn't irrelevant. Fives are not irrelevant.
Right, but because the queen 10, I think, might have donks on this, that it's not good. It's going to decrease the large size frequency.
Right. Okay. And let's throw this in a solver. Just we won't go through the whole hand, but just to get the sizing on this, because I believe that paired board, that the heuristic is paired boards we bet smaller as long as the pair is, as long as the guy can have trips. And deuces, he has very few of, threes, he has very few of. By the times you get to fours and fives, he's got them.
Alright, so we're curious about what kind of sizing on this text
Just
here,
curious
right?
about sizing on there.
Yeah.
The ace queen, I'm sure also has, I don't think this isn't a bet range board, so he can check back or not. And he bets
Alright.
big. Yeah, so good, we'll find out. And it's
Alright,
over.
you wanna take a look at it now?
Let's take a look.
553, okay. I guess you want me to share, that would help.
You share. And while you share, get ready to share. This is where I am. This is the camp, this is the trailer that I am living in this week.
Living large.
Living large.
Alright, so we have donks here, which I
Well predicted.
am not going to take.
Look at all that five we have.
Yeah. So we must have like a trips advantage here, just out of curiosity, very quick.
But we do not, but we have almost no donks with our queen 10 offsuit. There's a breath of it, but
So we have we have a little bit of a trips advantage.
Yeah.
Okay. Neither here nor there, just curious. The question at hand, what sizing when we are check two? So if we have donks, my indication is that we're gonna mostly have small sizes, which is kind of the case.
okay, so it
It's
goes up to
mixing.
50%. But the small size this is the major,
Yeah, it's the major. So
because we have some five there too. Yeah.
club heart, doesn't really seem to matter, but club heart is right here.
Yeah,
So it
so-
looks like this is very much a range play, it looks like, where we're just have checking across the entire range, even the top.
So our answer on this is that while, but that the large size is 50% here, not 66%. So this is-
75. But yeah, let's just change this to a 7, see what happens. So we're most curious about what happens to our B75 here. And we now get B75s.
Yeah.
So
Pair
kind of
board.
paired board theory is strong. Is that it?
So that, yeah, the paired board, we say we pay paired board bets small, but what we mean by that isn't always 33%. We mean that the 75% disappears. The choices go to, in this particular case, the choices go to 50 and 33, and the 33 gets overrepresented. It's twice as common as the 50.
Yeah,
And
it
it's-
kind of like just suppresses our sizing.
Exactly. Okay.
Someone's at the front door. Someone's at the front door.
Okay, here we go.
Who's up?
And we are on, I believe we are on skate. You there, skate? Skate's there.
Hello?
Speech.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, ace king takes it.
Looks good to me. Although I would not be surprised to see this 10 jack call.
Oh yeah.
And- Against the cutoff, that is mostly fold, but there's a little call,
I don't know.
mostly fold.
Okay.
I think it goes well, during
Now it's a,
145, 135 effective.
but now to the 3.
I think now you've got, now this is a good question. So you guys see this size, this stack depth. I don't know if I'm playing this hand at this stack depth.
So I was wrong about this. Let's see, is that also true in the 9 max version? Cutoff raise, jack 10. No, I was wrong. There's a
Yeah.
lot of jack 10.
Yeah, I'm calling this hand here in the big
We
blind.
talked about that before, but to the 3, it's gotta be. It's gotta
Yeah,
go.
it's the 3 and the stack depth to me.
There it is. 3. Cutoff raise on the button, on the big blind. Yeah, it's just non-existent.
Yeah. That's just
Yep.
the part of our range that just doesn't have value now.
Yep.
Which is.
Yeah.
Maybe
And the fact
greedy
that
is
we're
a better way to
deeper,
put it.
the fact that we're deeper makes this worse to me.
And me too. Yeah, I mean, we just don't have the implieds.
But we flopped this.
This is gonna be interesting.
You have chosen the wrong time to trap, my friend. Well, you did not get screwed by it. And you have chosen the right time to trap, my friend. Calls. So yeah, he's in full on trap mode. I don't think he's being careful here. I think he's trapping. In his
Yeah.
mind.
I agree. Does villain 343 follow through on a 9, which I think is a follow? If you guys took this line, would you follow through on the 9? I think I would.
Nope.
I think I would follow through. I think if I stab turn here. And I got a
What do you
repeat
range-
9, I
What do you
would
range? Oh, go on.
continue the subterfuge. Sorry.
What do you range villain 347 on? If you're the big blind, what do you range the cutoff here when he checks the flop and calls your bet on the turn?
So it's cut off. So I'm blocking both the hands I want him to have. Sure, Jackson 10s. Under pairs, 8-7, like queen 10 of clubs. The middle of his range.
I range him on some flush draws, which I block. A lot of queen, which I block. But that's what but that's the kind of hand I expect him to have here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is kind of, in theory, I guess it's kind of,
And
you've
if he
got
has,
blocker issues here.
if he has a queen and we're gonna bluff this, we have to bluff big because we have to get a queen to fold. And that
Yeah, I
not
mean, I think
helps.
if you're choosing to take this line.
Yeah.
I think
But
generally
it's,
you need to follow through.
yeah, but it's more than pot.
Now I see Mike mentioned kings there. Like, how often do you think
Sure.
are villains in your game checking when the ace hits the flop versus
A lot.
c-bet?
With kings, I think a lot, yeah.
Yeah, kings and queen X are the same hand. Yes, I should have included that. Also jacks, but I blocked jacks hard. But yeah, kings, I mean, if it were me, I would I would be checking back my king and just calling. And maybe folding to enough aggression on the river, which didn't happen.
I don't want to see this hand and see if we're supposed to do this. With his combo.
Well, we're never supposed to, the 10, he should have folded.
That's a good point.
Oh, you mean whether we check back the ace king? Yeah, take a look at it.
Yeah, we can't look at a solve at 3 big blinds, but.
Yeah.
Would it be,
We'll go to 2.5 big blinds and we'll give him 10 jack suited and make him a better player and change stack depth and all that. I think the ace king can bet for value now. Because I think this guy has a reasonable number of aces in his range that will now call for a chop, and we're not chopping.
What if the river was a 9 of diamonds? How would you think you would still bet for value when the backdoor comes in?
not an important blocker?
I would if I didn't have, I would if there wasn't an ace on the board and I needed to bluff my singleton ace of diamonds. I don't know that I want to value bet my singleton ace of diamonds. I block.
In the line that we see
Yeah.
here, where villain stab turn and then out of position check river.
Yeah.
I would value bet with this king.
But he was saying, would you with the, if the 9 was the 9 of diamonds and the flush came in?
Yes, I would if he checked.
Right, so those are the two
Okay.
things we're gonna run on this one, Larry.
Okay,
We'll run the 2 different 9s on the river.
alright.
right. While you do that,
Okay, I can do it. Well, let's finish the hand now. Let's see what happens. Well, it's
Oh.
not very interesting. He's gonna bet
Yeah,
and guy's
what
gonna fold.
Okay.
Alright, do we wanna look at this?
is it ready?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Or can you put it in? I'll let you put it in.
Oh, wait, okay. I'm not looking at the right screen
Right, okay.
to find Zoom.
Um,
There it is.
I'll do this one while we go. Fold, 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 raise, fold, 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 eights raise and take it. But the king 3 plays it wrong. Okay?
All right, you ready?
He
Oh, I'm
gets-
sorry, we're in a hand, sorry.
No, we're not anymore. That hand. We got,
Okay.
that play was rewarded. We're not gonna look at that right now.
All right. So our questions are around, so we've got the very interesting, well, this is obviously check range. And 2.5, we do have Jack 10 off.
Yeah.
Full freak.
Right.
Okay,
Does the cutoff ever slow play the ace king?
so my guess is,
Yes,
ahead, sorry.
they'll have a frequency of check.
yeah. I wonder though, how much, because I
Not
wonder how
much.
much we want to get value from ace X with the worst kicker.
Yeah, I have no
There'll be
checks here.
over bets here. There will be, yeah.
Yeah, we
there's-
just,
Oh, there's
There's
no,
a
yeah,
check there,
hardly
but
any
it's
checking.
so,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Scotty.
oh, I was just saying, yes, there's a check frequency there, but
So my theory here is that our ace king here has a lot of ability to extract value from his ace jack, his ace 6, his ace 5. So we are really incentivized to bet our best kicker ace. Because we just really want to get value from what is, well, we can just look at it real quick. Why don't we look at it real quick and then we'll move on. So breakdown. Oh, no, ranges. Top pair. And we can see like he's got, I'm not doing this right. He's got a lot of ace X and we always have a better kicker, obviously with ace king. So I think we're incentivized to bet a lot here to get value from his worst ace that he needs to call.
Yeah.
And we could see it's 14% of range. So that's a lot of his range. Okay, anyway. So, but I think we actually did get a sliver of traps here, very little.
yeah. The king, there's the king checking back. Some of the queen does, but queen jack and queen 10 are the queens primarily, and we block those with our 10 jack.
Well, let's just look at best hands. Well, those are our best hands, so it includes all the aces. So yeah, we do have some traps, our checkbacks. Okay, so we choose the trap here.
We did not
Now
break
this
the
hand gets interesting, right? Now we get the 3 of diamonds. Now the question becomes, first question becomes is does he get stabs with his open ender here? So if you look at straight, he does, he played his hand well, but he didn't play to the right size. He really wants to overbet here. He doesn't care that it's an ace-high board. Solver doesn't care. Oh, and this is combo draw. Let's put combo draw in.
So his size is 125. Is his common size there? Or is it
Yeah, he wants to overbet.
on the jack 10 just for a second? Just jack 10 off.
Oh, we don't have it because we 3-bet jack 10 off suited.
There it is.
Okay, you want to look at jack 10 off?
Okay, so jack 10, yeah, jack 10 off is fine. Yeah, so it's
It's definitely a thing.
125.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is that because the aggressor checked the flop when they were supposed to bet?
We are trying to set up to get to bluff kings off on the river, maybe?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, he is supposed to bet a lot here. You're right. I think maybe the way to look at this is, let's look at this as a range. What are we doing with our very best draws, right? So that would be a combo draw. So just when we have this much equity, I think, Skate, what we're doing is we don't have a pair and when he checks, we're really motivated to take the pot down. So that's why we use this very inflated sizing. We use these overbets. We've got a lot of equity to nutted, to a nutted hand, but we still just have jack high or 10 high. So we're very motivated to win the pot by generating a fold. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let's say we overbet. What is cutoff response?
okay, so with the jack 10, we are supposed to overbet a lot. Here. Okay, yeah, I don't find this overbet. I wish I did. It's a good overbet to have.
Seems intuitive once you see it.
It does, it's true. So he's never folding his top pair.
But he's
His,
calling it.
he's, yeah, so. Overbets, I think, are gonna result in, I mean, he's saying he's got a polarized strat, right? Like, if you look at what his value was, it's probably like sets and two pair that he's using the sizing with. So we're not super motivated to fold out the bluff portion of that.
Yep.
Range. When we know that the solver is balanced. So, except our sets are like, yeah, let's go, we're on blocking. I guess with the threes, we're like, okay. So yeah, we're always calling, to answer your question.
And then let's stay on this line where we overbet and take a look if we fall up on the river, and then let's look at this,
Okay.
of what we do with the 75, because the 75 doesn't break the solver.
Okay, so we're always calling here.
Yep.
And then we had the repeat 9, which is interesting.
Yeah.
So are we following through? Jack 10 gives up.
Oh,
Let's go through by hand class. Well, let's just look at no made hand. So when we make that super, I think this comes down to the size. When we make that super filtering sizing here. How much is he supposed to fold out when we overbet? Let's just look at his range. We're folding out half his range, right? And his range, if we look at his range in position, it's just like he's gonna have the draws here that would fold to our side, to our double barrel. But it's mostly the shits that's not, I'm sorry, combos that aren't gonna fold. So, yeah, I mean, we really filtered his range here, so it makes sense that we would give up after we've essentially made the bluff here on the turn. I mean, the way some people say this is, oh, well, we already made the bluff. It was on the turn when we overbet. I'm sorry, go ahead, Arturo.
Nothing.
So what we do, I mean, we have some. So if you look at what our no made hand here. Let's, I don't know if it makes a difference, but yeah, so. Yeah, we're mostly giving up. We have a couple bluffs, but I would say that we just give up. And Jack 10's in that space.
How much of that is going to be a check raise bluff if we get bet?
That's an interesting question. So, okay, if we check. And then we'll choose his most common sizing, which is a small bet against what was our polarized range on turn. Interesting.
Which is the rare in position block bet on the river.
This is, we violated the Affleck rule, haven't we? So now the question is, where are we have none. We do not have any low equity check raise shoves. We are devoid. What's this? King 2. King 2 is our one bluff.
That's the natural hand to have there.
Yeah. King 2 of diamonds, that's it. There's your bluff hand.
What's the lowest value there? What's that big first red spike?
Red spike,
Yeah, the first one that's pure.
2 pair.
2 pair bottom top.
It's not 2 pair because
no,
it's
it's 2
counterfeit.
pair with that weird, it's 2 pair with that weird thing. Where
with
the
the
3
blocker to the
blocks
set.
sets
Yeah.
in full houses, because it
I can-
isn't 2 pair anymore.
It's counterfeited. Yeah, it's blocking his value with the
And
set.
yet it is still value.
Yeah, it's this weird in between space. What's its equity? Its equity is 60%.
That's something that I learned in this week in Louis' group. That I did not know before, and I found it very counterintuitive, that when you are counterfeited on the river, you still play your two pair, you play your counterfeited two pair strong.
Yeah, it's interesting. I get, like you said, you're now blocking sets.
Yeah.
Which has its own value. Yeah, it's interesting play. And not one that I expected, frankly.
Yeah.
This is an interesting solve. I'm glad I went through this, but is there anything else anybody wants to see? Do we want to go down a different sizing line on turn? Or should we just
We
move
wanted
on?
to see, we wanted to just see very quickly, if he does the 75, does he bluff the river? The 70, because the 75 is in there with our hand, it's just narrow.
Okay, so again, we have a couple
Now the
more.
ace king, oh, now the ace king does check raise.
Now the ace king YOLOs to that sizing.
Yeah.
Let's say we get a call.
Which
What
again
was it,
does,
a 9 of clubs or something?
Yeah.
Do we follow through? Yes, now we're constructing a
now we can follow through.
And we B50,
Size is
B50.
B50.
It's the only
Okay.
size we have.
So we're not, there's no giant size. Okay, great.
All right.
Does the
I
backdoor
was-
change the strategy?
What do you mean does the back
If the
door?
nine- you mean
Oh,
if the nine-
if the 9 of diamonds came in? It was a 9 of diamonds. Good. Oh, no, it was a 9 of clubs. If the nine, okay, so yes. Clearly, we now have big bets. With our, yes, we have now big bets with our flush. Which means we're gonna have big bets with our trash as well.
Right, and I'm gonna predict that
Because
the
it's the
Jack 10
solver.
offsuit, the Jack 10 offsuit, when it takes the big bet line, which it does, it has a diamond in it.
Yeah, it needs a blocker now.
Yeah.
Good guess. Okay. Anything else you
Alright.
guys want to see?
Nope, I'll do it.
Alright.
Okay, so bad play is rewarded. I was doing this one, so I'll finish this one off. The eight's raised. They're out of position. You should do a lot of checking. The eights are super vulnerable, so you might do some betting. I can see myself betting here once and giving up. I'm not
We
in the
can
hand.
see we can
He
see your
does.
text messages.
Oh, okay. Let me make those go away. Thank you. There we go. That was my wife and brother-in-law. So the size, I guess makes sense for a one and done, but I don't think it needs to be this big to get what he wants accomplished. But he's just accomplished it. He knows. He's got a check fold now. Oh, no, he doesn't give up.
Yeah, this is like this in between fishy sizing.
And there was the thing you said, went from, just over half pot to just to a third pot.
Yeah, I think there's some sizing tells here. I mean, of course, it's not an absolute rule like anything in poker, but I think they've got some sizing tells here.
Hey, so
think
there's,
about-
I don't know that this would be too bad if you're exploiting this player. I don't know that this would be terrible.
Okay,
Like with top of range?
Like even with his hand, like versus this villain 348, I'm assuming if he's like kind of just a bad player, somebody who like I could see betting this flop with eights and then making like a block size bet with eights and getting called by worse.
All right.
I could
And
see an
folding-
exploitative
folding
play
raise.
here that not being too terrible.
Okay. Yeah, I understand your point. What portion of your range are you talking about? Oh, with eights you're talking about.
Yeah, this specific hand, yeah.
Okay.
but now against that player type, are you still betting again?
No, absolutely not.
But yeah, in the four liner.
He's got to value bet here. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Oh, he shoved?
No, he shoved. He's representing a 6 now.
Yeah, you're not getting that guy to fold.
It helps to do that against a player type who knows there's a four liner on the board. So there you go. That was surprising.
You know, I gotta say, I may be oversaturated with looking at solves. But I just don't. I think I've trained myself to play more defensively out of position in SRP. I don't know if that's good. It might be horrible against population, but
I think it's better. I just don't enjoy it when I lose hands that I would have won playing the old way.
yeah, we talked about that once before. That is important. I mean,
But there are parts of your range that just play. I mean, the marginally made parts of your range play better when they, when they stab, and they don't get there.
maybe one way to think about it is, if we do go to a more solver oriented out of position SRP playing style, which is more defensive, I would argue, we have to make sure we increase our check raises.
Yes. That's the thing is the aggressive part of that is the check raise. And
Yeah.
it is a big component. All right. I believe we are on Arturus.
Volk.
We might see a raise from this Jack 10 here. It is a non, there's a sliver of it in the hijack. We might see it.
No, is there?
What's the-
There's a sliver of raising Jack 10 off in the hijack?
Yes,
No.
sliver. It's a sliver. 8% kind of sliver.
Really?
Allow me,
Maybe there is. I definitely
allow me.
choose not to.
Change, hijack. Come on, sliver. There's your sliver.
Oh, look at that. 6%. Good job.
Scotty living in the slivers.
Yeah.
I just know it's there. I'm not doing it there very often.
Yeah,
Hopefully I'm doing it 6% of the time.
yeah.
But he does it. This is our king 3 guy. No, that's not our king 3 guy. Anyway, he does it and it should work. All right. Adam.
Right, let's see here. I think there's a sliver maybe of 9-10 open, but probably just fold. Open the ace 6 and take it.
The ace 6 is pure. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Jack 10 call, and the 10-9 is a fine sliver that he doesn't take. You gotta take this ace 6. That is,
Mhm.
I think we're gonna get a defend.
and the Jack 10 is against the hijack, should be a fold here. We saw it in the cutoff. It is, it exists, but it's tiny it's a sliver in the hijack, and it's prominent in the cutoff, and you can fold it. And he takes the sliver. Here's what that sliver looks like. There's your ace 6 raising in the hijack. Here's your big blind against the hijack. There's your little bit of Jack 10, but to remind us all of how prominent it is against the cutoff, because I got that wrong earlier today. It's very prominent. Okay, so he takes the sliver, and I don't think it's because he took the sliver. I think it's because he doesn't know it's a sliver, but he took the sliver. And slivers are rewarded yet again.
I expect this to go check and then, this is, I think you would prefer to have a club.
Yeah,
Bet here, but this doesn't have showdown value or I mean, its showdown value is probably pretty limited. I am kind of in the habit. I am c betting a lot out of position here in this spot to guys that are probably over defending in the big blind.
In position.
In position, yes. Because I expect this guy has over defended here. So I would go check B50 and I'll expect a call when I do that. But it could easily go check, check.
it does. And I like the check from him. I think that if you're not c-betting 100% on 100% of flops, which was the old style, if you've chosen not to do that, this hand and this flop seem like a really good one to check back.
I am gonna expect this guy to check, and if he checks again, I am, probably inclined to just check back now that I have my ace high and I've started on this path. If we had taken my line and it went check B50 and he called and now he checks again, top pair has changed and the flush draw is still out there, I would be B66, B75ing.
Nice. That's strong. I don't know if it's right, but it's strong. And if I'm the Jack 10 guy, I go, darn, I should have bet. And now I go into check call mode. I don't, if I'm big blind, I don't bet here. Doesn't. And there's your stab.
Mhm.
And this is an easy call. This should be an
I
easy
just
call.
presume he's gonna call, yeah, I presume it's call.
I think.
Alright, and so now I expect this guy to check. And, okay, so now I don't expect a lot of guys that have chased a flush to hit the flush and then have the discipline to check back here. I bet this hand on the turn. I think I'm going to bet here because like, what's the best hand I expect him to have here is a lot of Jack X. And I think if I bet like, I just don't expect him to have a whole lot of queens. So I'm gonna bet like 16, I think, or 17 here. Try to
Nice.
win this thing.
So I want to look at this one because, as you said, the discipline to check, because I don't know what you should do with a flush in the big blind here, whether you should be betting it out or checking. I always play this wrong. I just go, he checks back everything. I have to bet. And I don't give him the opportunity to bluff. He doesn't go for it. All right. So
You
I
have to
would
mix, you're gonna mix that a lot.
Yeah, I do want to see this one.
All right.
And while you set this up, I'll let you take a screenshot of it. Mike, you're up on the next one because I did that King 3 abomination. All right, here you go. This is Mike. Poster.
All right, with the poster, well, it should fold to the poster, and the poster should raise. Now that he's posted, I wonder if you need to make it more, but I'd probably just, if it was me somehow in that situation, I guess I'd just make it 2.5.
Yeah, you don't need.
Then King 7 should defend mostly by calling. There might be a sliver of 3-betting, but it's just calling. Ooh, hello?
Yes, I'm here. I had to respond to a text. Okay, so let's see
Oh.
what happens. There's the raise. Sorry. There's the raise. And he chooses to fold King 7 there, which is, if you consider this to be a normal low jack raise, King 7 does some folding. King 7 and King 5 mix their calls against the low jack. Is that true? No, I'm doing that wrong. Yeah, they do. King 7, it mixes. No, King 7 does not fold. It mixes calls and raises. But this is to 3 big blinds, so that's going to change it. Okay, so we'll go look that up real quick on this of how it changes with King 7. So this is a low jack raise. There is no folding of King 7 in the big blind against the low jack. None. 0. Good. That's what I thought. But make that a 3 big blind raise, and I don't know what happens. I think it's not going to fold. That's what I think. Low jack raise. Big blind, King 7. Nope. That half a big blind does everything. I knew it did it to down here. I didn't realize just how much it just decimates the kings. I mean, you've got some aces folding a little bit here. That half a big blind is a huge difference. Making sure that that is because of this and not because of a different algorithm. It's because of a different algorithm. This is the 2. Oh no, I didn't change it to 2. I'm an idiot. 2.5. Yep. It's not because of a different algorithm. It is accurately different. There's your 2.5. using this algorithm. Here's your 2.5 using the other algorithm. They're not the same, but they're close, you know. That's not a crazy difference. But the half a big blind makes a huge difference. Much bigger than I thought. He folds, all is good. All right, you ready, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, sharing screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
We can now.
So the first question for me was, oh, this pure check, right? And like,
Can you remind us, what was the hand?
It's
so the
ace suited against the Jack 10 offsuit that had mostly folds.
The what suited?
A6 suited, A6
Oh,
of
yeah,
diamonds.
okay, yep.
So I'm sometimes a little bit flummoxed on these kind of board textures because it's not clear to me who has a range advantage. And I guess it just comes down to when it's like this kind of texture, it just defaults to imposition because imposition has all the open pairs.
And hijack is a strong range. Hijack is not the button.
Yeah, hijack has a strong range. Also, you know, Jack 10 off is in here a little bit, so we've got this combo. So we get to do a bunch of stuff, it looks like. We choose
Okay.
between a B75 and a B50 and a B30, so you know, I think my kind of assumption that this board is a bit unclear and its strat is true because we're using bunches of different sizings.
But look at but the most prominent size is B75. This is a big bet board.
Okay.
And I did not know that.
The other thing that tells me this is that if you look at breakdown here, it's just across, we're just betting across everything and we're
Yeah.
using all sizes everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? It's very common for us to have a range bet in position, but you know, it's kind of almost exaggerated here, except for, you
Yeah.
know, our sets, which are getting after
Yep.
it.
Roll over the A6 suited and see how much the suits matter for what we're allowed to raise.
So he had diamonds, right? So
Yeah. The least common one, but okay.
yeah, he gets to do it. So
Not
he, what
solid.
size did he use on flop?
He went, if I remember correctly, he went
Went
big.
check. No,
Oh,
went
and check,
Cause
that's
I
right.
said,
Went
I said
check,
I
check.
wanted to bet B50.
Oh, right, okay.
That's
You-
right. Yeah.
And I
Went check,
think, there was, I think that you're right, Larry, that the strategy is kind of difficult to implement when when we're betting across range.
Yeah.
But one of the arguments I think to betting more here is the ranges will get very well defined quite quickly. If you bet here.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
like if this guy has jacks, sevens, or deuces, or jack 7, what's he gonna do on this board texture?
High frequency
You're
check
raising.
raise.
He raises. And so like you have your A6 and you made this C bet and you get raised and you're just out of town. And like you just know not to continue. And then consequently, when you get called, it's a lot of flush draws. It's a lot of, you know, you got some jack top pairs, you got some sevens, you got, you know, some 8s, some 9s, 10s type hands, and like you kind of have really whittled down his range, which isn't particular strong on a board that's going to get scarier, most likely.
Mhm.
So,
So
I
yeah,
mean,
this is kind of like I would argue this is kind of the hungry horse strat.
I didn't
where-
want to say it, but you know,
I said it for you. So, yeah, I mean, so we're gonna bet, I mean, hungry horse strat, as we all know, bet a largest size here over B50, someplace between B50, B75, with the great majority of our range and see and listen to what the out of position player tells us.
Yeah.
And, you know, the argument is good, which is we're now defining his range. So we check here.
which is how I would have played this probably a month ago. But I think that there's a lot of advantages to betting more here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Adam, same way, like I would check that behind as well a lot too, but like, because, and you said it in your analysis, that they're defending too wide and it's still just very profitable to c-bet a lot of hands. And I've been kind of increasing my c-bet strategy recently as well because of that.
And if they call, like it caps their range. Like even when we get to this queen here, like queen jack is definitely a hand that big blind's going to call with, right? But now we get here on this queen jack, still got the flush draw out their board. I think you would see a lot of players in big blind. They might just like lead with their 2-pair, which gives you information. Like, and you know, if you have a bluff or single pair hand and they check raise you on the turn, like, well, you have a single pair and you're facing aggression from a player who has chosen not to be aggressive so far. It's you start to understand that you don't have a winning hand, most likely.
Let's look real quick at what in position or out of positions strategy is, and then maybe compare that to what we see with humans around check raise. So this is check raises. This is solver's check range. Check raise.
Raise range.
And let's compare this to what we see with humans. So, you know, we're gonna have a value quotient to this, which is gonna be around sets, pure almost,
Mhm.
2-pair, pure, some are top pair, right? And then second pair, kind of semi bluffing.
Which you'll
maybe a
never
combo
see.
draw.
You'll never see it from human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the piece that's missing from some people. Let's do it this way. Let's go. All right, let's look at breakdown and then all right, so these are just check raises in the city graph. So are people finding the check raise 9-8? No. Ace 9 blocking the nut flush draw. No.
No.
Uh,
No.
9-6 maybe, but probably not.
Yeah, more often calling.
More blocking of the nut flush draw. Here, maybe then we begin, we go up to 44% equity. Okay, we could see check raises, I think, sometimes from population here in this region. But you know, my argument would be,
Not that deuce 4 of diamonds.
no, not that, yeah, true. My argument would be that a check raise is probably from humans this way up. This is like the 50% equity threshold.
Yeah,
And like down here, this stuff is not a check raise.
yeah, and Mark Goon did a video about this not that long ago, where he basically was node locking in a similar spot. I can't remember exactly what it was. And, you know, he basically increased the 2-pair plus bet size to raise frequency to close to 100. And
Mhm.
then he took the flush draw frequency, or he took the top pair frequency down to 0 essentially. And then he used a smattering of bluffs, but I think population is more inclined to play draws passively. And so he took that approach. And like you saw the c-bet size for us just kind of like skyrocket.
Yeah.
C-bet frequency or C-bet size?
Frequency
Frequency, thank you.
was super high.
Right.
And it was just really interesting to watch that and just be able to say, you know, that's, you know, you never know. Like, you don't know what a particular player is going to do, but in general, I think it's pretty true. And so it was really interesting to see how that affected the solver strategy with those node locks in place.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, that node locking video from Goon is worth a watch.
That's
from Hobby
nice.
Horse. All right, so should we go back to what happened in game?
Yeah, so went check, check. Then on the turn, we get the queen,
Hearts, I think.
queen of hearts. Yes, we get the
So
queen of hearts.
what's out of position's top pair supposed to do here? Oh, that's, we don't care about top pair. He had second pair. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just check now.
Yeah.
Mostly. So he checked, correct?
Which he did. And now the ace six the ace six after check decides now I'm gonna bet. Great.
You get to do that.
And
He
what
does
does he
get to
need?
do that.
And he has it with diamonds and he gets to do it. And
Yeah.
his size should be,
An overbet, really.
Overbet
Overbet R,
purple.
P75.
and he went 4 into 5.5. So, okay, you got the
Ought to
70.
be 75, right?
All right.
And so the question, let's just look at hand classes real quick. Our second pair is just calling.
Yep.
We're not going anywhere after check flop.
And we don't expect them, we shouldn't expect them to go anywhere if they have a jack.
No,
No, agreed. So this is where it gets interesting, right?
right.
So
On-
this is our crunch time. Our main question was, what's our
Or-
donking frequency with our value here? And the more interesting question would be to see where our donk bluffs.
Yeah.
And it must have, I would imagine have all be ace club blockers. Alright, do we get donks is the first question, and we do not. We do not
No,
get donks.
you just
Interesting.
don't. So I gotta be just, so there's a bit of discipline there. In
Well,
this case, I have to take it.
let's dial back on that. Well, let's look at that from a different perspective. This is what Solver's doing, right? I don't know if this is the best. I mean, this is what I have done in the past, but I'm not sure if when my flush comes in, if this is the best strat.
Yeah.
I'm open to what, I mean, the profitability of this strat with your top of range is dependent upon in position having the proper amount of bluffs here,
Right.
which humans, well, so look how much is no made hand. Well, he doesn't have that many, but trash hands, no made hand. He doesn't really have that much. That's not really a good argument, but it's just people aren't going to bluff. People aren't going to value bet top pair here enough.
Right.
I probably wouldn't value bet top pair unless I had a blocker. I bet with the ace of clubs, but I wouldn't bet without a blocker.
So in this case, when he checks, which is what our guy did,
Uh-huh.
do we,
And
do we bluff the ace? Do you get in there and bluff the ace six?
so you want, where do we do it some frequency? Well, no, some frequency. So okay, so if we get a check out of position.
Mhm.
And we're in position.
Right.
Let's call, so an ace high is gonna be, it's not a value bet, I would argue. And it must be a value bet because king high is. These all may be bets with the ace of clubs, maybe? No, they're not. Well, this one is. This is important to see. So the ace of clubs now we're going to,
Bluff it. And the king of clubs. We're gonna bluff the ace of clubs and the king of clubs. And on the ace 10, we're gonna bluff.
let's look at king, queen off here. Yeah. Queen of clubs and king of clubs.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was your question?
I was gonna say, the same thing with the ace 10. So we go to the ace 6 suited. And yeah, we nail it sometimes.
We do. We use
So,
a
We go bang.
a B7. A B50 rather.
But I was wrong about the size.
Well, okay, I think that's versus the machine.
Yeah.
I don't think in this spot, when you are bluffing, that you want to use a small size.
Right.
Because you are just gonna get picked off too much.
Yeah.
And you want to make it more difficult. But when you have, because like I think it's unlikely that a human, or less likely that a human has a very strong hand here, and they're gonna be very skittish when they see this flush come in. They check and we continue to bet.
Mhm.
And I think that you want to make their lives easier to find the call when you have value.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then more difficult when you have nothing.
Yep.
And so I don't think that this is a situation where we have to be 100% beholden to the machine, because I think that humans are gonna be behaving different.
My comment was, oh, that, now I know what the machine does. But
Yeah,
yes, I agree with you on the logic of that.
You know, I mean, I think the takeaway from me here, is that when we've got the king high and the ace high, I think maybe we just choose to use our clubs as a bluff. Which is it's not entirely what the solver is doing, but maybe we can simplify to that strat. We
Sound-
know it's a bluff too, because we can see it's got like ace king is like 5% equity here.
Yeah.
So, all right, anything else you guys want to look at here?
Yeah, we got it. All right, that was the ace six hand. Then we did the king nine. Right. Next hand here is, I think it's Arcturus is up. I think. I don't actually know.
King 9 raise and then
King nine raise and take it. And he went to 3. There we go. Andy,
alright, let's go. Folds to ace king. Raise. Fold 8-5. 9-10, interesting. I think probably a fold, but I wouldn't be too upset to 3-bet there. And
and
then-
what about a call?
Oh,
So
it's
that's-
8. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. 9-10. I thought 9-10 was in the small blind.
No.
9-10 is on the button. There will be, as we see the open come from an earlier position, we get more of a calling range here. This is hijack open. I think you're probably fine to just fold, honestly. But I think you see a lot of guys just will flat this for sure. And not nearly that many 3-bets for in live play for sure. Guys are
In the
not
land
gonna
of in the land of the 3,
fold.
we just don't play very many suited connectors against 3 again. I got 3 big blinds.
Yeah.
In
Have,
the
have
land-
we come to a heuristic as to how our 3-bet frequency increases, decreases, or neither against a larger size?
we
Because I'm not sure, frankly.
saw that of the hands that played, so we fold a lot more hands.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if our total frequency of 3-bets increases, but the percentage of 3-bets compared to the played hands, I think increases. I think we saw that.
Right. Yeah. You become much more inclined to 3-bet.
You're
Okay.
more polarized. You
More okay.
fold more and you fold more and you call less. That's what
Yeah.
the answer.
So you're more polar, you have less flatting. Okay.
But against this 3, even at 2.5 big blinds, this 10-9, it just it doesn't like it at all.
I guarantee you pool is absolutely overcalling this
Oh, absolutely.
to
All
a
day.
huge
Oh.
degree.
Well, given this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quite honestly, given this, I'm surprised the 9-10 didn't come along.
yeah, absolutely. All right.
So I think this is like, you could totally bet here. But I am pretty much out of position, just check range here. And I will be looking to check raise this combo.
Yep. I like this as a check raise, and I don't want to check call it very often at all. But he just bets.
Yeah, you can bet. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's pretty like nitty fold, honestly, if you're gonna call, like,
Yeah. What are you calling 8-5 for?
He was
The
playing,
fold
he
like that.
was not playing for his pair. He had
Yeah.
decided,
he was on a straight draw, flush draw, boys.
that's what he was deciding, that he was gonna go. And bets big. There we go. Okay. It's me. fold around to the king ten. This ace five, by the way, has a about 25% range. 25% raise in the hijack. I expect him not to find it. The king ten is 100% here, obviously, and the 6-5 suited is 100% defend, and that's going to be true whether he goes to 2.5 or 3. We'll see what happens if he goes to 5. What we're supposed to do.
I'm gonna step away for a bit, guys.
Okay, there's the raise to 3, and the 6-5 suited is still a call here, 100% of the time, no folds. He does it, good. Interesting flop. This flop has donks on it. I don't think I want to donk this straight draw. If it was of clubs, see it as a donk, and he doesn't. This is an easy bet from the king 10 suited and a good smart bet, and it should bet small because of the pair on the board. And he bets a little bigger than needed. And 6-5 should not fold yet, even though 2 of his outs are dirty. But he goes right for the check raise in Louis style. Good job. And the king 10 suited shouldn't fold yet. He doesn't. He gets there. Good for him for getting there. He should continue, and he should not be worrying about fold houses. The guy called the check raise. You should bet at least 12, if not 30. But I think more like 12 to 18. This I'm not sure of.
Yeah, me either.
Goes
I'm
for-
curious if theory has like this should be like a small bet or not.
Yeah, I'm very interested in what size this bet should be. I'm happy with his 18.
What happened on the flop?
And the king 10, looking at this. Check raise. Check raise the flop, bets the turn. And are we getting the odds to call with a paired board? He doesn't have a lot of full houses here. The 7-4 and 4-8 are not well represented. 7-7 is there. I think he can still call this.
He's got 4x, though.
He has 4x, but the king 10 is live against 4x. He's dead against 7-4 and 7-7. That's what I meant. He's drawing dead to a full house, which is possible. And so should he fold? And I don't know. I'm interested in that also.
Oh, boy.
All right,
What size?
all in. We did this to get to this point, all in. Yep. And he's figured it out that he needed at least that. Okay. Anybody want to run this while Larry's gone? I will burn a solve. Let me do this.
Oh,
So
I can try to pull it up.
okay, yeah, you do this one.
Hold on, I gotta
And
let
then-
me screenshot this so I have it.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm good.
All right, while you're setting that up. Skate, you're up. You have pocket aces. Congratulations. And
All
you're gonna
right.
get action. You're gonna get a lot of action.
Yes, please. Let's get some action here. Oh, actually, so I think Queen Jack does have some opens there in the low Jack, Queen Jack suited. So let's open that.
100%.
Yeah, let's perfect little on the large side. Well, actually, yeah, on the large side.
Yay.
So let's we're in position. We could 3.5, 3x, whatever you want to do. So let's do that with
Yep.
the aces. Let's go 12 at.
He goes
okay.
he goes small. He goes extra small there.
Oh, I don't like it.
Don't think that's necessary.
What is the ace king gonna do? I don't know. I kind of like I like either jamming or, I mean, without seeing the cards, I like either jamming or going maybe a 3. Because if you raise, you're gonna have to go at least 3x. It's gonna put. It's
No,
gonna be
this is a
30.
4 bet. This is a four bet. Four
I-
bets are not 3x. Four bets are, he can go to 2.3 to 2.7, 2.5. He's in position with a four bet.
Okay, nice to know. So maybe like he could go 20. He could either jam or go 25. Let's see what he does.
Yep.
Or call, of course.
That's the worst choice.
Okay, and let's and also, I believe fours might be tempted to incentivize to come along too. Nope.
They get out of there.
Oh yeah, because of the four bet, right? Or because of the three bet,
Yeah.
I believe. All right. Cool.
So I know if I was in here with a queen jack, I wouldn't have raised to four, but given this action, I would very much consider, given the size of the four bet and the call behind it, I would throw in another 6 big blinds, I think.
Yeah, I mean, this hand's
Probably a
got,
mistake.
is all about implied odds right now, right?
Yeah,
And I
I
think
would do it.
the one thing you have to do if you play this hand is understand how much your pair of queens is devalued this in
You need
this.
two pair plus to continue.
Yeah, I mean, you have to have some discipline in how you play your pair of queens here.
Hey, it only costs the queen jack 10 big blinds. It's gonna cost the ace king 100.
Yep.
Three checks.
Check back call.
Ah,
Fold.
he checks to
What? Okay.
I would imagine he's gonna check raise. What do you think? Check raise or continue to slow play? I think you should check raise.
I think he's gonna slow play. Just call.
going all
By the way.
slow.
Yep.
He's
Also.
representing pocket queens.
So what's his what's the SPR on flop after ace king bets?
3-1,
3.
less than, just under 3-1.
Okay, so now it's, yeah, so it's like it's 2 right now, right? Or SPR is. So
Now
I
it's-
guess, I don't know. What do you guys think of slow play? I'm not so
I
sure.
think
I think
I
it's,
think he can do it because he can, if it goes check, check, his jam on the river wouldn't be crazy. And if he gets
Yeah.
a bet here, it's good.
yeah, he's way ahead or way behind. If he has if he has value, I mean, versus ace king, I mean, you're just way ahead. You're just beating everything.
And
You
ace
never
king-
expect this to be ace king, right? So he doesn't expect this guy to be at the very top of his range. All right, now it gets interesting, right? So now I think I think you have to shove here. I don't think you have any option.
And the ace king is not gonna get away from it. There we go.
Who's gonna lose a stack either way?
All right. Mike, you ready?
What do you guys think? Skate brought up a suggestion pre-flop. I'm curious what people thought about it, which was to jam, just to four bet jam with the ace king here.
I think that's a real thing.
I do
think
too.
four bet jam and four bet to 23 or 25 are
I
both.
think we're 4-bet jamming here more out of position than in position.
I don't know.
I mean, we
If we
have
were
the
like-
advantage of in position play here.
Yeah. So if
But
we
if
were
we're-
small blind or big blind, just stuff it.
I think
Let's
that there's
start
a
with-
higher
yeah.
frequency of stuff here if you are out of position.
Yeah.
However, when
But-
you're in position, I think that I mean, essentially when you shove, you're saying my positional advantage doesn't matter anymore.
Scotty, there's a 4x.
I don't have the 4x. You do, so we have to use yours for the 4x.
Okay.
And so we'll go to that in a second, but just looking here on the 3x real quickly. There's and he's the cutoff. Is ace king can go to 8, he just goes to 18. He doesn't shove here.
All right, let's look
The
at out of
shove.
position. We folds to small blind.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
a little bit.
It might be
And then
interesting.
There it
then-
is.
What's
back
the
on the
EV, what's like the EV difference between the two? Like if you hit strategy, that drop down arrow to E
strategy.
EV,
1.86, 1.85.
how
Yeah,
about
it's the
for, how
same.
about for like cutoff?
Yeah, go to in position.
Cutoff doesn't have this jam. I mean, cutoff has a sliver.
I know,
of
but
G.
let's compare
Just to,
EV.
Okay, I
it's
see your
terrible.
point.
Oh,
It's
it's
terrible.
negative.
for the offs, but for the suited, it's
it's
like
negative.
whatever.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Everyone's the same.
I just don't think that I think that you are incentivized to play in position.
Yeah.
I mean, if you play in position, you just have more bluff opportunities if you miss.
Yeah.
Where if you shove here, you're just saying, all right, let's run the equity, dudes. Or fold, that's fine with me.
Got it. You
Does
should
it-
have the 4x.
Come up on the hijack, he. I'm sorry, coming up on the end of the gun, he's gonna fold his queen jack suited here. To a raise and a re-raise, he just gets out of everything but the world and these bluffs that you should not be doing.
Yeah, look at the ace king off is even
Yeah.
getting out of there.
Yeah.
And that's probably like something that against humans, we should probably internalize a lot.
Yeah, agreed. We should do it more.
Yeah, right? Like, cause humans are gonna be they're not gonna have any less bluffing in that 3-bet range.
There are very few cold four bluffs in cutoff here.
Yeah, that's what I'm
And
sorry.
then you fold your ace king off to this action.
Yeah,
When
Scotty,
four
you should
bet
have
ace king
4x.
off, he goes, I don't care that you're 4-betting. You fold ace king off. But I also fold the tens, by the way. Fold these guys. Not that I get there when that. All right,
Scotty, go back to Wiz. You should have 4x, and I have a feeling it might
okay, let me see.
change the.
No, it's only on
So
yours.
go to 8 max. You're locked on
I'm
the 8
locked.
max.
Yeah, you've got it. So let me,
Okay,
let me let you share. So let's do the previous hand and then do your 8 max. Cause you loaded up a hand, right?
yep.
Yeah, let's see that first.
All right, you see it?
Yeah,
Okay, so this was our big blind defend. I think we had 6-5 suited, right? We all knew that
Yep.
that was a pure. We get this flop, the big blind, we predicted donks, which we do, and that hand actually has a pretty good significant amount of
donks.
donking.
But he didn't do it.
I don't think they did it, did they?
No, they didn't. No.
Yeah, they checked.
Cut off. And then
And
the
here's our
cutoff. is-
cutoff action to a check. And I don't remember, what did we have? King 10?
No, the
of
cutoff
spades?
bet his king 10 suited. And we check raised. We check raised flop.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
You mean we c-bet the flop?
No, this cutoff C bet. His king 10.
Oh, yeah. So,
And got
yeah, so
check
King
raised.
10 suited here does bet obviously quite a bit, and he bet what size?
His bet size was, give me one
About-
second here.
About a little bit less than half pot. But like 3.
Yeah, he bet 3.
Okay. So 50%, right? And you say we got check raised kind of small, right?
Check raised to 9.2.
Yep, 3.
Right. And 6-5 suited. Where are you? 6-5 suited. Oh, there we go.
You
So
can do
yeah,
that.
clearly it does have some check raises. What were they? Diamonds?
Diamonds.
Yep. Okay, so they did do check raise 50. Our King 10 suited. How often do we get to 3-bet this? We just call, okay?
Yeah.
Which would happen. What was the turn?
Turn is the
8 of
8.
diamonds?
8 of, I
8
think
of
so.
diamonds. Yep. And we were worried and we wondered, what is our sizing here?
Yeah,
what
and it's
king
just
suited?
pure let's go. With the diamonds, though, it wants to check a lot.
Right.
Let's see
But when
what-
it bets, the bet is 125%, which we discussed.
Yeah. Yeah, no small betting.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He bet 75. I believe. Let's check that. He bet 17 into 24.
And our King 10 of spades is it's shook.
But he can call. Okay. Good, because I was shook. I'm glad that, I'm glad that was hard.
Yeah, because our outs are cut in half right by the turn, so we're getting what, like 18, less than
Yep.
20%.
And they may not be good. A flush might not be good. It probably is.
Yeah, king high probably is.
Good. So we called. And then the river gives us the king of hearts.
King of hearts.
And the 7-6 should, the 6-5. That's left. On this line,
Yep, the
I think-
6-5 jammed. And the king 10 should call there.
where's the 6-5? Where's the 6-5 here?
Oh, well, that
Oh,
was
oh, the
back.
6-5 jammed. That's what I didn't see. Sorry. 6-5 just jammed all of it. And it had one, the spades had some smaller size, but they're all just jamming. Okay.
Why are we jamming? Because of SPR?
Yeah, yes, and we have what we believe to be the best hand almost all the time.
So like, what's the standard for jamming when the SPR is less than a certain amount? What
The
would you say?
SPR was basically, the SPR was really close to 1.
Hmm.
It was 1.2 or something, it was, it was just on the river when the SPR is around 1. Your main size is jam and sometimes your only size is jam.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't an over jam. And if we had bet the correct size on the turn where we got big, then I think there would be only jams on the river. From the big blind. But let's check that out.
Yeah, right.
Roll
So-
over the big blind before you change the size, just roll over what we have right now. On the big blind node here, let's just see. So it is almost all jams, but there's 37% of 33s. So it's not almost all jams. There's a lot of half potting. More than I thought. Okay, now when we do the 125 that we should have,
And that was here, right? On the turn.
now I think that it's the river only jams and checks.
Good point.
And by the way, your goes 125, your king 10 is just folding.
Yeah, you only stayed in for that. There's still a little bit
A
of
little
this,
bit of block betting.
but very little. There was a lot of, there was a lot of it in the other one. Okay,
All right. Anything else on this one?
and then we were gonna look at the 4 big blind node in the 8 max for fun.
And it came from
Low
the
jack
high
raises,
jack.
low jack raises 4.
Low jack had the queen jack.
I'll make sure of that right now, that I'm not remembering it wrong.
Okay. Aces make it
Low
10.
jack- low jack aces raise them.
Ace king off. Starts to fold and does not jam.
Okay.
And notice
And
the
put 'em in
size.
small- And put them in the small blind real quick. Yep, and there's some jamming. Great.
So what is ace king suited there doing on the cutoff?
That's half jam, half, or mostly jam, actually.
Okay.
But the ace king has a tiny bit of folds, but mostly,
I wonder if that's a lot about the rake here, and assuming the rake is, it's, no flop, no drop. Cause this is a very high rake in a lot game, 10%.
I mean, ace king off is not that profitable.
Even the queens are shook, right? But it's going to be mostly calling, right? You're calling
Right.
queens.
And
Yeah.
now look at this, we talked about this. The suited combo adds 4% numerically to your EV, to your, not your equity,
It's pre-flop equity, I think.
pre-flop
That's how I would
equity.
think of it.
But look at the difference in what it really does.
As equity,
0.02 is in, yeah, as in your EV, your actual money.
oh, okay,
0.02
let's look.
to 1.85.
Yeah, yeah, it's 2 big blinds worth.
It's huge.
So we can translate thinking the flush is worth 2 big blinds per 100.
I like it.
Okay. There we go. So we did the ace hand. And now someone has aces. Oh, this is great. And this, so this is what happened now. This is the last hand of the night. So what happened was I was doing this, I look over and go fold, then this stuff happened and I didn't even see these hands. Fold, and now I have my last hand. You know, it's like I'm going to dinner. And I just walk over and I go, oh, I have aces. That was nice. Or and it's gonna be, and you're gonna be surprised how I play them. So I'll narrate for myself. No,
So
no.
far, so good, Scotty.
What?
So far, so good.
Right.
You're off to a banging start.
Call. 2 callers. 3 callers. So now with 3 callers, aces are not the favorite in the hand, you know, by the river, but they're way up there. I'm probably
Well,
40.
we can see it,
Oh,
right?
wait.
You're,
Oh, this is
you're,
against these specific hands. Yes.
yeah,
I'm
you're
53,
coin flip.
but against other hands, I would be 47-ish something. Okay, here we go. Check, check. I can bet this. I can also check this, you know, on the idea of giving this guy a lot of bets.
Also a question for you here. How are you feeling about the equity of your hand multi-way on this texture?
I think that I have 50% against their range of hands by the river.
Yeah, so I feel when I'm looking, so if I have aces here and I'm multi-way against 4 people.
Mhm.
And I'm asking this to understand maybe if I'm thinking incorrectly. I'm thinking this is a good flop, right? I mean, there are obviously there's not that many 2 pairs. There's obviously king jack. There's obviously sixes, maybe jacks, but overall, I think this is a good flop for my aces. This multi-way.
I expect that I'm ahead right now most of the time
Yeah.
against 3 players. I expect with this board that, you know, but not all the time.
Mike, you got your mic on. What would you be thinking here in this situation?
I would see that just, I mean, you just get so many other callers. Like I'm sure theory says you can check here, but I'm just going to see bet and I'm going to probably maybe even size up because there's just going to be so many people that are going to call with worse hands.
Yeah.
And I chose not to size up just because of our study with DTO. That was the
Yeah,
only reason.
I think
I
that's
would have
fine.
sized, if I was going by narrative, I would have sized up saying people have Broadway draws, charge them. There are queen 10s out there and jack queens and king queens out there that are going to pay me. Charge them. But I just went 4 players, bet small.
Whoa. Got 2 back doors. I've got 60% of a straight flush.
But Joey alarms are going off in my head.
And that hand doesn't help it.
I
Sorry,
hate that card.
this card doesn't help it. Looks like 9-5's gonna fold.
This is not the card you were looking for.
No, but you're in position, that's good. This is a tough one, man. I'm shook. I've got the Joey fever and I'm gonna check a lot here,
10? No.
even though there's so many draws.
Joey fever.
The Joey anti-sweat, maybe? I don't know.
Yep.
No, I mean, I think that check's great. A lot of hands beat you now, like they call with.
Yeah. Okay, now, okay, so he puts in a blocker. This is a very
Puts in a
interesting
blocker
spot.
bet. Force the 9s fold.
This is an interesting spot. So maybe maybe the first question to ask yourself is how often is this a bet small to induce in population? I might be influenced by seeing the cards, but
I just watched a Carrot Corner video very recently, and this should, probably is just a call, like in theory, like mostly a call in theory,
mhm.
but versus population, you can raise for just value, right? And still get called.
So was Carrot's argument that population is not balanced here? They're more face up with their value?
Yes,
Bet they're-
100%. Yep.
Yeah, I think that is a good adjustment here. Okay, yeah, sometimes we're going to run into a BSTI and it's gonna suck. But the great majority of time, we can profitably raise in position here.
Is this ever is this queen jack ever bet small, not to induce, but bet small to blocker bet with queen jack, not king queen, not king jack, but queen jack?
Good question. Well, what would you do with queen jack here after this action?
I bet.
Small bet flop. Check, check, turn. You have queen jack and you're sitting in one of the blinds.
I bet bigger than that. I would bet bigger, but I would bet.
Yep, bigger.
Yeah, I think this would be worth a B60
I mean,
or
against the- remember,
B75
also-
with two pair.
Against a small bet, two calls, and then check, check, check. I'm not putting me on aces here very often.
No. I think that queen jack bets bigger than this, than a blocker sizing.
Yep.
I think the
So-
great majority of time a blocker sizing is exactly what it says it is.
That's all I did.
I think that's a fine play on
Yeah.
this texture. I think this is a fine play. My only question is, and again, I'm maybe influenced by the cards, but, can we value bet? And so Mike just talked about seeing a Peter Clark video where we definitely can value raise here,
I could value bet this.
but it's uncomfortable as hell, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because a check raise is a nightmare,
A value bet of ace king might be better though than ace ace.
blocking.
Blocking king queen and king jack.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
That
point.
might
I
be
think
nice.
I think you have a very good point.
And no concept with, and you know, Mr. Solver is not going to tell us anything with this four-handed
No,
nonsense.
this is we're well
Yep.
aware.
So yeah, so I was very happy with that. And I just watched myself doing it going, yeah. It's possible to play more NTO than this, but it's hard. All right, and that was the last hand of the night for that.
So we're into a new session now?
Yep, that was that. It's let's see, it's we got another 40. Yeah, we can do some more. All right, time to be unhappy.
You
Right,
saved your
time to
best
be
for
sad.
last.
We should have started sad, and then we could have ended happy. Now we're gonna start happy and end sad. All right. So all these hands that were misplayed are all not 5 years ago. They're all within a year. These are selected out. The filter is badly played. And the first one is as of 8/16/2023. So I have no excuse like, oh, I wasn't studying yet. And here we go. An extra big raise. Okay. There is no, oh, here's what it is. This is going to be because this guy has been, you know, if we saw his stats, this is going to be somebody who's been doing this with all kinds of crazy hands. You know, he's going to be a short stack who's been doing this a bunch. And that's why I thought I bet I jam on him here. Nope, I call.
Interesting flop.
It's just bad. It's like, I can play back against him in the world, but and then this hand, so check, he bets. And can I at least get away from it now? Nope, I decide that he's full of shit and he's been full of shit all night. And I have a draw. So
Kristen Bicknell made this play on turn last night.
Mhm.
Ended her run in the WSOP main event at like she was one away from the final table.
Oh.
She checked shove turn and was wrong.
Yep, well, there you go. All right. I have no defense of that other than saying I remember even though it was then again, I remember where the person of it, but even then it's bad.
So-
Ace two is not for 5
Sorry,
big
go ahead.
blind. I'm gonna have a better opportunity to stack him than ace deuce offsuit.
Yeah. So we're gonna see a lot of pain here.
Yeah.
So you've actually tagged these hands for play.
Yes,
Okay.
I've tapped his hands for pain.
Because trust me, I am probably more than you do, so.
All right. So here we go. The ace jack goes to 2.5. I do not know why I am in this hand. Oh, good. This is someone else's pain, not mine. They're tagged for pain, not necessarily my pain.
Okay,
Okay. So this jack 3 is against the cutoff.
oh, right?
Yeah, but let's see. Against the cutoff, you get cutoff is like jack 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cutoff is cutoff here is jack 7 against the button. You've got against the small blind, the button, you can get down to jack 3, I think. Let's see. So here's our cutoff. Big blind. There's your jack. Sorry, jack 8. Oh no, this is low jack. Sorry. Here we go. Cutoff. Now we're going to see the jack 7. Thank you. Jack 6. 10-7. Okay. Now against the button. Instead. Now it's going to dive down into those low jacks. Yeah, a little bit of jack 3 there. And then against the small blind. No, you go crazy. So this jack 3 is a mistake by 5 pips. And how does this go badly? He bets small at the paired board. This should be the end of it. It is. I don't know how that got marked. Okay. Mike, you're up.
Okay, 10-9 probably has a small frequency of raise, which I think you're going to take it. And ace jack small blind to a low jack is a fold, I think. And then that's what should happen. It's not what's going to happen. But I think ace jack is a fold there. I think.
Ace jack against the low jack.
Low jack.
Yeah, it's a fold. I think we need ace king
No,
against low jack.
no, with no, against the low jack, there's some ace 10, there's some ace 10, ace jack is generally played there.
There's some ace
Oh,
10
no, small blind. No,
blind.
small blind.
Yeah,
know,
I think
small
we
blind.
got
I don't know small blind. Never mind. No, I was thinking of the big blind.
Yeah,
that you
no
play.
worries.
No, I have no idea. I bet it's a fold.
I think ace queen off is a fold here.
Yeah, I bet it's a fold.
No, I don't think ace queen's folding.
There it is.
No, never mind.
There's your line right there.
I-
Yeah, you get to come in.
I'm a nit.
Yeah, you get to come in. I'll show you. Okay, small blind ace jack against the cutoff is pure. Small blind against the hijack
Hey,
mixes.
Larry, in your
Um,
defense, I think the reason I remember this ace jack pretty well is I think in some poker coaching, because I used to use a poker coaching chart and ace jack didn't fold here in I think in the implementals, I think,
Okay.
implementing one. And I remember it being a big change for me, like using GTO wizard charts, that ace jack was a fold there when I think it was a pure 3-bet.
Yeah, I think, there's that off-suited region I think is a little nittier in poker coaching.
So the good news is now when he goes down to 50 big blinds, though, the ace jack goes up in value.
Right,
So
it's better for him than if he had a full stack.
yeah. So let's somebody check this in the 50 big blind chart just for fun to see if it makes it in there. There.
All right.
I know certainly versus the maniac that's in the low jack right now.
You should. Yeah, but then it should be a 3-bet. So that's what it
Yeah.
is. I think when it comes in, it should come in as a 3-bet, not as a call. So the only thing I can feel good about this hand is I can say, well, at least he misplayed part of it.
So it's UTG, right? Low jack raises. And you want to know what ace jack is doing?
What does ace jack do at 50 big blinds?
At 50 big blinds, it's pure 3-betting.
Okay. So I can still say, well, at least he made a mistake.
I know your red line tendencies from the past, Scotty. So I think you're betting.
Yep. He has the ace of diamonds. You can stay in.
Yeah. And once your foot's on the accelerator, it doesn't go.
No, I think not. I think this one I needed to pick up equity. I think this one I needed to pick up something to continue the bluff. Yeah, that's what happened. Then 3 comes and he bets and I fold and we're done.
All right.
That wasn't as atrocious as I was hoping. Can we? I
No,
hope for
no.
some tragedies.
No, just sad. We're not.
Okay.
It's not there's only a couple of hands that are filled with suicidal ideation. Most of them are just sad.
All right. Well, those are the ones we all look forward to.
Well, I'm sure we'll see some of them. Okay. Skate. Narrate my pain.
Right, sixes could open. 10 jack could do, no, it's too early for 10 jack suited to, yeah, let's open or limp sixes. All the way down to, let's call on the small blind and call on the big blind.
Let's
Yep.
let's go back to king 4 suited here. Is that cray to choose to put this into your 4-bet or your ISO bluff range?
No,
Hmm,
it's kind of early and he's short stacked, which makes the king, which takes your king 4 suited down in value. But, you know,
So having this hand on the button makes it attractive to me. I'm guaranteed position.
I would
true,
ISO it all day, Larry,
but versus EP.
You would ISO this?
all day.
Okay.
Yeah. now would you ISO out of the small blind here with your 10 jack suited?
Yes, I would. Cause
Okay.
I think like we have some good, we have a good chance to take it down. I think we talked about this with the ranges. When we have more limpers, I think you just have to be inclined to just call and see what happens.
Yep.
Versus this situation where we have one limper, we can pick it up now, which is fine. Or we can narrow it down to heads up, which would
Right.
also be a good outcome.
Right, so now let's look here at that range that Arcturus made for us. Here we go. This was solved. So now this is not against the, where are they? Is this the range? No, that's old. Here we go.
This is
Thi-
limping button versus cutoff limp, right? This is
This-
ISO button versus
This
cutoff limp,
is,
if I recall.
here is our new and improved button calls. Okay, this is the range we're looking for. Here we go. So this is if you were the button. Now we're gonna get one from the cutoff to do the same range, but Jack 10 suited is a pure.
Mhm.
So yes, so let's go with that mistake. First one. We hadn't made this range yet, but this should be a pure raise.
Come on, hero. Nice butt, nice flop.
Yeah, nice, nice. This is an easy check from me. Oh, no, let's just. Although the one thing here, the fact that I donk is not crazy into a limped pot. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, agreed, but I don't do it. Cause
Yeah.
you're giving away in positions opportunity to tell you stuff.
And I'm strong enough to call, so I don't need to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I would check, I mean, it's clearly suicide here, but I would check raise at some frequency here.
Yeah, but you can bet call. You could bet and call a raise here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that
agreed.
one, sure.
That raise is easy to call.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually kind of,
What's
I
he,
mean,
no, he loves he just wants, I mean, this is very fishy behavior
Yeah.
to do his best to keep you in with these ridiculous raises.
Please do
sizing.
not have a deuce or a queen of clubs on the river. No. Phew.
Look at these sizes.
mm,
So I think this sizing pattern, betting
Mhm.
pattern from our limping broken stack, I think is very common. I think people just want to feel clever and win pots and get calls sometimes.
Yeah.
And they're not so motivated to max value. They're very interested in feeling smart and getting people outsmarted and getting calls when they
Now
have top.
played correct, played correctly by me, we haven't seen this against specifically this limping range, but we have a reason to believe that the 10 jack is still going to be a raise. And assuming it is, we're going to get a raise here. Ace four is going to fold. So I'm going to raise to 5.5.
Mhm.
Sixes are going to call.
And you're fucked.
I'm going to bet.
Yeah, you're
And
gonna bet flop, and
probably
he's
just gonna
probably gonna, I mean, he's probably gonna call. We know he likes to
Right.
trap.
Yep.
Probably,
And if he doesn't call, if he raises, he's going to raise small.
yeah.
And I'm going to stay in for my flush draw with more chips in the pot. All right. So at least I didn't play it correctly.
You've lost the minimum.
Yeah. All right. Who is up to talk about my misery? I think it is.
Here, I'll go.
Larry.
I don't know. I don't know if you got it. Whoever's up, I don't care.
I think Larry. I think Larry.
Alright,
Tough.
Okay, so hero is in button with ace queen. King jack is pure RFI. Hero should 3-bet. And king jack, I think, can mix, but mostly calls.
Interestingly,
this-
the 3.5. So I don't know what ace queen does versus that. Let's take a look in our two tools. I'll go look up in, oh no, I can't look up in 3 because he's in low jack -1. So this is you, Mike. You're looking this up.
Okay. My
Right.
guess is ace queen suited has some calls on the button, but we'll find out.
In this case, I do, probably more because of the large size,
Okay,
which could be completely wrong.
so I think, I mean, so we talked about this a little bit before. Your strat should become more polarized, so less
Yes.
flats, more 3
Yes.
bets. And you're folding more, right? So I would lean towards a 3-bet here because, well, number one, you're playing a larger pot in position, which is really good.
Yeah.
And you got a hand that can do good things.
Right. So in against the 2.5, it's mostly a call.
Yeah,
It's 3% a call. So against the 3 and the 4, which is what we're going to look up now, because he was halfway between the two. The raise probably does increase, but it might still be 50-50. And we are not super deep, but we're deep.
alright, so you flatted.
Yep.
Which is fine. And then, is it still me?
Yeah.
So he checks to you.
Like a jerk, he plays correctly.
So I might be influenced by cards here, frankly, but this dry flop with a king high texture, I would expect population to bet a lot. And I've got a backdoor, which I don't really want to get shoved off my equity for. So I'm gonna check back. And my ace high is good sometimes.
All right. So that's going to save you 4 big blinds.
Okay, he's playing a very interesting line here. I guess he doesn't think he's got value, or he's just trapping.
He doesn't love his kicker. He likes his king, doesn't love his kicker.
Yeah, I think, yeah, he doesn't love his kicker. So, okay, so you've taken a bet line. So now, if I were you, I would overbet. I would,
I picked up equity and given that the board had no draws, I now think he does have a king.
okay. Well, I think he's, my
I
impression
didn't-
is
but I
that
didn't listen to
his
me.
range is broader than that, but.
Yeah.
Okay, B75, I think that's fine.
And I'll tell you what is not on the river.
Okay, so what does he do here? Is he gonna check? No, he donks. Yeah, this is face up. We could just fold. I don't think your play was terrible.
No. No, not
Play
terrible.
was fine. I would take a very similar line.
Let's take a look at the, you ready, Mike? Take a look at how we adjust to the 3 and the 4.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm pulling up a few different options here. Okay,
I was disappointed with the lack of tragic consequences to your bet. I thought he was gonna
Yeah.
check raise.
Yeah, there were minor consequences.
Alright, so this is a raise to 4x from UTG1, and then the question is, what do we do in button, right?
okay, yep. So here I pulled up a few of the different options or the different sizes. So here's 4x from UTG +1. Our button reaction you see here is about a 75%-ish three bet, and the rest is call.
So our three bet frequency is going up a lot.
Three bet frequency is going up, yeah.
Yeah, let's start from the bottom up here. So here's 2.5, right? Oops.
There's dinner.
2.5? There's 2.5.
Okay, I think that another
Where ace queen
factor
does
that we need to think about
25%.
here is rake. Like if you can see the details of the rake, but I think the live 10% rake is going to drive a higher three bet frequency because my assumption is that it's no flop, no drop, how they built it.
Oh, these examples are not all using the same tool, part of the tool?
No,
These-
because the 2.5x in 9 max is using a NL50 rake.
No,
and
that's,
the 8 max tables are using a 10% live, whatever that is. I don't know what the difference between an NL50 and the 10% live rake
yeah,
is.
let's
So-
do the 2.5 on the, do the 2.5 on the 8 max table with the,
I don't
with the
think you can.
10%.
They make it. They don't make it for.
Oh, there's no
the
2.5
Yeah,
on
they don't have that rake structure. Can you go to
Okay.
change real quick? Just hit on change and then go to. So if you go to where it says rake, you see that
Oh, yeah,
question
here's a
mark next to
2.5.
rake. So if you
No,
click
no,
that
it
question
gave
mark
us a-
next to rake, it will show details about the rake structure.
But what I mean is, let's look at these different sizings all with the same rate structure, whichever one you do.
So 10% too big blind. It doesn't say if there's
Yeah.
no rake free, which is what we really care about.
Here we go, live 10%, 2.5.
It
Three
says
and
it's a too big blind cap, but it doesn't tell us about.
Yeah.
We'd have to find out if there's rake free.
But this is
Yeah, I
good.
have no idea.
Just take this one. Let's take a look at this one here.
So that turns it in, whoops, it's. Put a button here, turns it into a little bit more frequent raise.
Okay, so ace king, so under this rake structure, the ace queen suited almost always raises. And the NL50, it's about 25%. Okay, now we go to 3 and it goes down, right? Yeah, so now it goes live 10%. Yeah, now it's 50-50-ish. And 4. Okay. Interesting. Not what we had predicted. So my initial call, not bad. You know, in this one case, the thought process. Oh, let me go back to sharing the screen. The thing that I probably should have thought was that his initial bet should make me more polar, but as it turns out, as we looked, not on the ace queen suited. The ace queen suited went from at 2.5 on the old rake structure, it went down in this. And so on this rake structure, it probably goes down also. But this is fine. And then this happened. Okay. Andy. Adam. Andy.
Alright, let's see. Oh, we got jacks under the gun. Yeah, open that. Fold, fold, fold. King 7, fold, fold, fold.
Yeah, that'd be nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. Let's see how wrong this is. I haven't seen it, but this was a raise from under the gun 1. And here we are on the button with King 7 suited. And unfortunately, there are some 3 bets here.
Now, look at, you guys are 175 big blinds deep.
Yep.
That's a mistake. All right. Take a look at it. Take a look at, I don't have 200 or 150, but that probably makes this even worse.
I think that you still have three bet bluffs. And I think they would come
Take
from
a
this
look at King
region,
7. Take a look at King.
which can low freak,
Alright.
not up. So,
Take a look.
yeah, I'm not sure this is a huge error.
I got it in as, I put it in GTO was
Yep.
with 10% live rake, 2.5 open.
Mhm.
Yeah, pure fold on the button.
Okay.
I think maybe, hang on, maybe, let me, hold on.
We are in NL
Maybe,
50.
okay, all right, 98% full.
Okay, take a
98.
look at, take a look at take a look at with the NL 50
Yep.
rake.
Hang
And
on.
just, and we'll go 200, we'll go
200.
200 big blind feed. Cause
I
it
don't
doesn't have
actually-
50, right?
I can do it at 150 or I can do it at 200 here. At 200, under the gun one, hang on. Under the gun one, yeah, you get like 20% raises. 150. 150 pure fold.
Okay, so at 200, at 200, it had it, and 150, it,
It didn't, yeah.
Right.
This is.
so
alright,
we are
this is a little bit
closer
delayed.
to, and we are closer to 150 than 200 pre-flop
I think,
by one big blind.
yeah, and I think that these are like spots that.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's like, so let's, hang on, let me just check and see what's the. EV of doing this is 0.
Yeah.
And
This
so
is
like, and that
avoid it.
assumes we play flop, turn and river spot on.
Perfect. Yes,
So we put in, okay, so yeah, I expect, this is actually, so this is like a weird board now. Because it really shouldn't be all that good for either player, I wouldn't think, like, neither player should really have jack 9 or 7, 8. Like sets or.
So if it's not nutted for the out of position 3-bet caller,
Mhm.
he just happens to be a top of range here. Does that make it better for the in position player who now is the only one with aces, kings, and queens?
Yeah, I think like that's, we exchanged some messages about that unique portion of range in
Oh,
3
yeah,
bet
yeah.
pots on the turn today.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think that that's, gonna be really good for the in position player here. Because out of position is gonna be heavily incentivized with, basically like queens plus an ace king to 4-bet here. And they didn't. And now they're here. Yeah, I think this is a spot that's gonna be a spot where this checks to us as the button and we need to continue betting. The sizing is kind of interesting. I would normally default to like a small sizing, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're supposed to maybe go a little bit bigger here.
there is locked up equity. It is with the 7, 8, 9, it's with the 9 jack and the 6, 9. He should have very little of that.
yeah, he doesn't have, in theory, he doesn't have.
In theory, he has none of it,
Yeah,
but in theory, he does have 8s and 10s, pocket 10s.
So you're
And so-
ahead of a big part of his range. It kind of sucks blocking like king, queen here, king, jack.
Not ahead of this part.
Yes,
yeah, I expect that.
that is true. Not this part, not the jack's part.
I think there is no, even without seeing his hand, I think there's no reason to continue this farce now.
I mean, he's gonna be incentivized
I
to
actually don't
raise
know.
sets here. Like we do have a lot of suited combos.
Yeah.
He can have draws here. I don't think you want to go crazy, but I think you can. I think, do you think that you're going to win at showdown? I guess is like,
I'm gonna win against all his draws at showdown except for 9, 10.
maybe.
I'm beating 8, 9 and 7, 9 and 8 and ace, king of diamonds.
You're not beating it.
And all, I'm beating all his diamonds. I'm beating every diamond he can have, except for ace 8 of diamonds. 9, 8 of diamonds.
I mean, so our nice. Our marginal, I think in theory, our marginal showdown on turn does want to check a lot. There is the old adage about buying a free river. If you bet, I don't know if that's good strategy or bad, but
With this card coming, I don't want a free river. I'm done.
yeah, you're
Just
You're
fold.
cooked.
With this guy.
So there we go.
I don't think, yeah, I think your play was fine.
Yeah, the biggest mistake in this hand to me was here, but it was specifically here, not recognizing the difference in stack depths. The fact that I wanted to implement this, because as I said, let's take all the 3 bets that are there. The fact that I wanted to implement this is not bad.
I
Like, I
agree.
found-
I mean, if we were to look at the EV of the 3-bet fold there.
Yeah.
At 150 big blinds versus 200 big blinds, where it mixes, it's gonna be minuscule.
Yeah.
You know, we're like hundredths of an EV chip. Between 3-bet and call.
So that's all I mean is this is a mistake because I didn't know about the stack depth difference. That I played it as if it was 100, and then I took a low frequency line that didn't translate over. You know, the fact that I took a low frequency line doesn't bother me. That was the mistake. Then after that, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think your play was fine.
My play might be fine, but my day was not. Okay. How will this go wrong? Mike didn't get to join the pain. Mike, you're up.
Right. Fives probably have some frequency of raising there. That would actually fit into my raising, that combo. Queen 10 limps, probably just fold fives now if that were me, but they probably won't.
He'll probably limp, right?
Yeah, they'll probably call. They
Oh, no, he
do
does this.
small little ISO.
Tens are in a very
now-
interesting spot here.
I would now 3-bet the tens to 13. I'm pretty sure that's what you do here, Scotty.
I just go to 9.
Fine. Okay. Or, I'm sorry, I said 13. That was if I were, yeah, no, I think 11 is where I'd go.
Yeah, 11 and 10 both seem reasonable. This 9 doesn't seem terrible though. It still gives the 10, it still says to the 10 queen, you have no odds to call. And you don't mind if the 5s call.
Yeah, and now being deeper stack, I actually do kind of like going back up to in that
Yeah.
12 range now. But yeah, good 3-bet. Ace, everything else should fold around the 5s. which I think should just call now.
Yeah,
Going 38 might get the fishy flat here on button.
He should, but he absolutely shouldn't. One thing
No,
here,
he shouldn't.
the one reason to not go bigger for me with my 10s is I'm in position. Out of position wants to have the stack to pot ratio low, therefore in position would like it to be high.
Yeah,
So-
but the heuristic when you're deep is you start making your 3-bets bigger, like it
Okay.
does rise. And
Okay.
if you have aces, kings, queens here, I mean, you just want to
Right.
make that stack to pot ratio lower.
And
Right,
also, when you
Oh.
have multiple players in the hand, I mean, this is kind of a retarded situation, but you really are motivated to get heads up, so you want to be bigger.
I'm pretty confident of getting heads up against the limping range with this in
Okay.
general.
I
However,
can see that.
and I don't mean the limper. I don't mean this hand. I mean against the limping range here. But
Whatever it is, yeah, I see your point.
yeah, but the point is, if the 3-bet size 150 big blinds deep should have been bigger, then the fact that he went 1 big blind here should at least push it up to 10. You know,
Mhm.
so it should be at least 10 there. All right, but this happens. Do we need to go any further? I think we know it. We all know what's about to happen. Oh no, it's even worse than that. Oh, I'm going to.
I mean, well, so this is kind of interesting though. I mean, he has to check range, and you actually, well,
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
I love listening to you talk.
So let's
I mean,
look at
you
his
just-
size here, right? Let's try to pay attention to sizing tells here.
I mean, I think you just fold. I mean, do you call with the shit end of the?
It's not a shit end. It's
Yeah, I don't think it's a shit end either.
It's the nuts.
You've
If the
got
king-
2 draws
Yeah,
and
usually it's the shit end, but in this case, it's not. And I have a 10 of spades, and a 10 of spades is not a tiny spade.
and also
I
the
mean, I
ace
would
and
just
queen of
fold.
spades is blocked, so.
I would fold. Population is
Okay.
not going to do this too
All right.
often.
So you have not entirely, what's the word I'm looking for? Bought into the Church of the Knuffle.
Yeah, you're right. I actually
is-
hadn't
this
considered
is a
Knuckle
little-
here. I just,
This is not Nuffle. This is not a single raise pot.
that there, yeah, that's the
Fair
point.
enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not a single raise pot.
Yeah, this is a 3-bet pot with a limper. This is not, this is not Nuffle data.
Okay, well, let's think about sizing Telvo. I mean, he's
Okay.
not saying is he saying that I flop Broadway with this size?
No, he's saying that he's saying that he's
Is my
saying.
king ten,
that
does
an
he,
ace
well,
he
number
likes.
one, you're blocking the nuts, right? That's important.
Yes,
You're blocking the nuts. He's saying whatever the fuck, sorry, Marmon, sorry for my language, YouTube. He's saying whatever he's saying here.
he's saying
And
that his kicker is not a 9. He's saying he's got ace with not, I mean, I'm not saying that that's his only, I'm not saying these are the only hands I put him on. I'm saying that the bet is making a claim, and the claim isn't always true. People have
Yeah.
bluffs. But the claim of this out of position bet is, I have ace jack, I have ace queen, I have ace 10 that I don't mind.
so you're saying this is largely a 2-pair plus donk.
2-pair or, yeah, 2-pair with a draw if it isn't 2-pair. Because I have all those things.
Yeah, so what I like doing here is I like calling, and let's see what he does. Right, so he's just said, I love my hand.
And I've said, how nice for you. Because I could easily do this with everything. I mean, not 9s, but I mean, I could easily do this with any ace. I don't have to raise him here.
So Mike, this is a clear fold for you. I'm usually the nitty one in these calls. You get the nit, you get the nit.
Clear fold? I don't know if it's clear fold.
Okay.
But I would, my initial reaction was I would probably just fold.
Okay. So this is a critical situation, right? So he's now, you've called, you said, okay, well, cool, let's put some money in the pot. And he now is out of position. How does he feel about his hand now? This is a very important turn sizing.
So I just picked up equity.
True. Now the gutter, the double gutter. Okay, so this is why we call, right? Because he's now said, oh, forget what I was saying before. And you have a choice to make.
The problem is that this is a sensible line for him with ace 10, ace jack, and not so much ace 9. It's a sensible line for him with queen jack to not bet now, because once I've called him, I have aces that beat ace jack right now and that lose to him, and he doesn't know which it is.
So maybe with his, yeah, maybe, so what you're saying is with his bad kicker aces, this would be a potential line for this horrible play.
Yeah, that what he represented on the flop can actually check here. And I still need, and I don't know that I can bluff it off. And my bet is a bluff here. And I don't need to bluff. I have quote showdown value, not really, but I
You
mean,
do. What would you guys do here?
Check.
I don't
can see why
know.
this is. Yeah, can we go back to turn? I have some questions about turn. So I might use a B30 here to take over the betting. Cause I don't think check raises are happening enough here. I'm gonna take over the betting lead here at some frequency at a B30, and then check back almost all rivers.
except for a 9 or a king.
Yes.
And you're not gonna, and probably not gonna bet a 10, probably not gonna bet a set on the river.
I'm kind of falling in love with sets all over again. I think I would bet a set on the river.
Okay.
Blocking the nuts. Yeah.
No, if I hit a set, the nuts become a single.
Oh, you're right. It's 4-liner. Okay, good point.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I probably check back.
And also, not that it's ever there, a singleton 9
Yeah,
also
yeah,
beats
you're
you.
right. Yeah, I
mean,
see your point.
I don't know how he gets here with the 9.
But you never know with these donkers.
Yeah, 9, 10. I don't know how he gets here with a 9. But
So I would, Sutton, what would you do here on turn? You called flop.
Yeah, I mean, I was like kind of with Mike on flop. This turn is kind of difficult because it's like it gives us the double gutter. This guy checks back.
Yeah.
like on the
One thing
turn.
though on flop, Andy, don't we, Adam, don't we fold 10-10 without a spade and call it with a spade? Isn't that how we?
I
segment
mean, maybe, but I
our
just
turn?
think like a lot of times guys that donk, I know this is like 3-bet pot, not a single raise pot. But a lot of guys just donk when they see that top pair, like they see the ace and they see the flush draw. And they just kind of like spaz.
Mhm.
And then they kind of like sometimes they realize on the turn, they're like, oh man, like I just bet an ace and it's not really that good of an ace. And he called. And now, man, I don't want to really bet anymore. Like, so I think we kind of have to make our decision right here on turn about what we're going to do with this hand.
Yeah.
I don't,
But right here, don't I, when I call here, expect him to have a lot of aces and say, I have a draw to the nuts and I have a 10 of spades. And a 10 of spades is a pretty big spade.
yeah, I mean, yes, I think that's okay, but isn't part of that saying that also saying like, if this runs out well, I'm going to attack weakness and I'm going to turn this hand into a bluff on a later street.
I think that's the value of calling
Hey,
this,
that's-
is what you just said, is that
I didn't think of that.
he is now strategically put himself at a disadvantage because he is now going to have to either polarize or check on turn, which is going to give you very important information about the value of his hand.
This combo of tens though is like, I don't know, just don't see why you would ever turn it into a bluff at this point.
Right,
Well,
especially when I pick up this, especially, well, maybe not,
Yeah.
maybe it's the opposite. I get the equity now to realize. But I'm still not but I don't have enough equity that if I bet and he jams, I still have to fold.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
how often does this donker find the check jam?
Yeah.
I think that, well, what I would do here is I would B30 and check back most turns, most rivers rather. That may be off base. I think your check is fine.
would you, but Larry, if you B30,
I would B30, yeah. I'd
but
put
then,
in 10
okay,
big
but
blinds
then
here.
if you B30, like, I just don't see the B30 being effective. Like, what are you trying to accomplish by B30? Like, you're not gonna make him.
Five to fold, so they don't get their five, and we know that's nonsense.
Okay.
But that is the case. That's what's going on here.
So you have a good question. I think my, this is kind of old school street poker, I think, but I essentially am buying the river check with a B30 turn bet. That may be an antiquated way to think about this, but you know, we're in a hand that's way far off solvers.
Like, yeah, I mean, I just don't know what, like, he's never gonna fold. Like, I'm trying to think of like what flush draw could he have? Could he have like 5-6 of spades, right? Like, and I guess if we keep him in the hand, then and it goes check on river, then yeah, we win. But like, it just seems like his range has a lot of ace X. We picked up a ton of equity here.
Yeah.
He
So
d-
check
he-
raise is horrible.
So he now doesn't really, it seems like if he has an ace, he really doesn't like it. If he has a hand like king, queen, he doesn't like it. You know, he decided he was gonna get a little ambitious, for whatever reason.
King, queen with a king of spades.
Yeah, yeah. Or, king, jack of spades, maybe. I don't know.
So you have a good point. So, you know, I think I do have to be aware that bet on river on turn here could be constructed around trying to avoid an unpleasant decision on river when he chooses to bet after check on turn.
I just think we need to bet a sizing that is gonna make, if we're going to bet here. And I think that we need to make him kind of scared here, because if we bet 30 right now and he calls, this pot is gonna become 100 bigs deep and he's gonna have 100. And that's gonna,
We're talking about a turn bet, right?
yeah, a turn bet.
And not
So
30%. He's bet you were betting, Larry, you were betting 30% on turn, not 30 chips.
I was betting 30%.
Right, yeah, you were betting 14, 13 chips.
Yeah, whatever
Right,
that
and you're
is.
And you're now
Can we
talking.
go back to turn real quick?
Yeah. And Adam, you're talking now about betting 30 big blinds, right?
Right.
Good. Want to make sure we Make that.
Like, I don't
distinction.
think we accomplish a whole lot.
Yeah, I see your point. I mean, so
Like, we need to make him aware that this is not gonna be a cheap undertaking now.
Yeah.
On a board that quite frankly favors us by a lot.
yes. Yeah,
Your
I
ace
can see
10
that.
is, ace 10 is not happy, is what we're saying to him with our other hands.
Yeah, Armoire is ace 7. He's 8 suited.
Yeah,
or
I just don't
whatever.
see a guy that has ace jack or a two pair combo, two pair combo or better,
Yeah.
donking flop and then checking turn. Like, that just doesn't.
Yeah, so this is the value for me of calling that flop. Is regardless of what he's saying about his hand on flop, he's going to reveal a lot more about his hand on turn, which we can exploit.
Yeah, so I think bet bigger here.
Yeah, I can
It's
see
gonna
that.
make him, even if he has, even if he has ace 10. Which we block like crazy. But I feel like he could also have a lot of other ace X. Like, there's a ton of, like, guys just, this is a spot where players have an ace in their hand. They think like they flop an ace, things are good.
Oh shit, he called.
Yeah. And now what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Um,
So is the larger size, it would be essentially B75 of 30 big blinds?
Mhm.
Is that, we're not folding out aces, ace
we're
X,
not gonna
right?
fold an ace, not here.
But we are gonna fold out a larger portion of his range, probably around like Jack 7 or Jack 9, maybe. Won't
I don't know
actually
how he
fold
has
that,
Jack
but,
7 here. I don't know how he has Jack 7 suited here.
I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, but any sort of, like, he could have any sort of, I mean, it's hard to have Jack 10, but any queen X that he might have, like king, queen, queen 10. Like, again, I don't think he has queen, jack, ace, queen, ace, jack at this point after checking back turn.
Right.
Mhm.
But king, queen, king, jack, the rare Jack 10, all fit.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. And so he's gonna call with all his aces, like he should. And
Yeah, we're not folding out aces.
but then, we get to the turn or the river, and we can make our decision if he decides he wants to call.
Okay.
And I don't think that we are capped.
Agreed.
I mean, I think it's kind of
uncapped.
dicey. I mean, look, I could be convinced that we just say, hey, on the flop, you know what, fold this thing. But once we call on the flop, I think we have to have some strategy that's not just kind of try to check this down, because I don't think that's going to work a lot.
And
Yeah.
with that, the 8 is the card that pushes me more, or pushed me more to not float in order to in order to bet the turn, because I went, wait a minute, now I have real equity. Now I have a lot of
Yeah.
equity.
Yeah.
Now
You have nutted equity.
I have nutted equity in two directions, and I don't, that I don't want to get blown off. And I guarantee to get there if I do this. That was the thought.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to player class him a little bit.
Yeah.
So player class is, okay, guy donked, guy called an ISO, he donked, and then he checked turn. How many check raises are in that range?
But in that player pool, we are doing him wrong, because that player pool didn't do this. This did not happen in the pool you've just described. So this guy's an outlier in that pool.
He's an outlier, yeah, but we don't know his combo.
We don't know
so-
that. Yeah.
So we're just thinking about player class.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was an interesting hand.
Yeah.
But important hand. I mean, I would say today that was the most interesting hand we had. In the sense that as a group, we got to think about how to play against a play we never see in Solver, but we see all the time in real life.
This should not go too badly, you would think.
Set over. Yeah,
Yeah, I can,
flush over set.
I don't think so. I think it's just gonna be, I think probably I'm just gonna call here. He's gonna miss on the flop. I'm gonna maybe bet, he's gonna maybe call, and then he's gonna get there on the turn. Yeah, like that.
A lot of opportunities to counter that here.
So just, Scotty, like, what's your range look like in this configuration where cutoff opens and you're on the big, on the button?
Okay, I hope that it looks something like,
What's your calling frequency?
I hope that it's something like this.
Yeah. I just don't
And
think this is,
maybe I don't need to, maybe I don't need to have one.
that's what I think. Like, this is, there was a while where I was kind of working on this.
Mhm.
And like, I'm just not, I'm not good enough at this point to like
Yeah.
have this, you know, and so
Maybe do the same, do the small blind simplification.
yeah, essentially,
Yeah.
essentially,
I have a
What
counter
about
argument when you
against
guys.
earlier positions? Are you gonna give up all this against earlier positions, or you can just cut off?
yeah, I'm giving up a lot of this. Like, I've really tried to cut down on the small pocket pairs, especially for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think in games I play in, there's a lot of guys that split ranges between limping and opening.
Mhm.
And so those guys that then open
Have a stronger range.
have a very strong range. And oftentimes they, on top of having a strong range, they're also using the bigger raise size. And if you go play around, if you haven't done it, or taking a look at the eight-handed bigger open sizings, like you just see this tightening of range that happens to all the people behind. And so yeah, I've kind of cut that sort of stuff out and like really tried to narrow down like suited connector callings, offsuit combos, you know, and just be tighter, because the reality is those players are opening pretty strong. Like they're pretty honest with you, you know?
Right.
These are players with split ranges specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but even like in this configuration, cutoff versus button, my thought process, that was kind of a different aside, but in cutoff versus button, I just know that the range in theory for calling is very slim.
Mhm.
And so
Just don't.
like I'm never gonna get 25% of Jack 10 calling and 25% of King 10 suited calling. Like I'm just not gonna hit that. And then even if I do, like I'm not gonna get the split right when we get to flops and turns.
Right.
So like just take all of this, take it all, maybe chop off at, I don't know, sixes or something, take
Mhm.
4 or 5 as your one suited connector down here bluff, and just like 3-bet it all.
Well, here's one thing in favor of your position, which is if you look at this range right here, I know this range.
Mhm.
This is one of the ones that I've memorized. So if you then say, well, cutoff hijack looks like this when it's raise only, right?
Yeah.
Now look at how you would do your button cutoff range if you only allowed raises. Button cutoff. So here's your cutoff raise. And you're going to simplify this and say only raises. Similar, just a little
Yeah.
wider.
Yeah.
It is a logical extension of the cutoff hijack.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider. That's a simplification to consider.
Okay, so I have a little bit of a counter to this, and which I totally agree with everything you're saying. But there is a philosophy, and I hear it from all the kind of the coaches that I listen to, like Peter Clark's, the Brad Wilsons, and the Jonathan Littles, is, this button range that you're looking at right here is also very dependent on you have two perfect players behind you. And when you get the fishy
Wait.
players in the blinds, you can actually increase your calling frequency because you're kind of inviting them in and you want to play pots with those players as opposed to three betting, say, your suited aces or your suited connectors, and where you can call and make it profitable to call when those players are in the pot.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fair. That's fair.
Because,
Yeah,
you know,
and
position is only everything when you go to a flop. Right. So here we go. So this little bit of pain here is solver approved to there. I think that this is probably solver approved. There's a lot of bluffing of the 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s.
Yeah, it's actually like probably a decent protection.
Yeah.
Equity denial type bet.
Yep. Yeah. But he has spades.
that's good, I think.
Yeah.
The ace is really good for, like, ace is good, makes sense that he would check.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
All right. This one is gonna go wrong, and this king jack here is too early. This is not a
Pure
thing.
fold.
This is a pure fold. So. Oh, okay. I know exactly what the pain of this was. Is that, no, it can't be. It can't be. I had to get the call back. What possible thing?
Misclick.
There's no strategy here of doing this.
Skate. Skate.
Thank you. Skate. See what Skate said. Oh, hold on. No, don't stop the cloud recording. Yes. So this is obviously a misclick. We know that. And I have no idea what could have caused it because I know what causes a one big blind raise misclick is you're typing in another program and the window comes up right as you hit the return button.
Yeah, and you hit return or you hit call. Yeah, happens to everyone.
No, but that's not called. That raises one big blind.
There might be a hotkey though.
No, I don't have a hotkey in
Okay.
in Ignition. I did have a C for a while. But back in this year, I might have actually I did have a C hotkey. So the cat walked across the keyboard, the cat who's been dead for 8 years, walked across the keyboard, had 9 lives, and caused this, which obviously is a mistake. But having done it, interestingly,
Three bet.
It's a
Limp
weird
three
one.
bet. Limp three bet.
them 3-bet.
If we're here, why not?
Okay. All right. I guess it would be what do you do out of the big blind? And it's just a fold out of the big blind with a king jack here. So it's you fold it.
No,
Blocking his
Fine.
kings.
exploit that tendency of the limp three bet. Everyone folds everything.
Yeah, he blocks it.
Okay, well, we can see the pain in this hand.
Yeah, this one could be 91 big blinds of pain. We'll see.
Just say no to the king of spades.
This can be a check raise. It can also be a check call. There is the 9, 8, 9. He doesn't have a lot of 8, 9 here. He has all the overpairs. I just do this.
You should be able to get away.
I should be able to get away now. We bet small at it, so I have to lose. I think I lose this and then I get away on the river. No,
Oh, you got a little, yeah,
no. I had to hit my straight.
yeah. This is gonna be, oh,
Oh,
lead.
Oh, that's bad.
Okay, yeah, I don't know about
But
that.
when he raises me, I'll get away from it.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm,
So dubious in every way. And I guess the proper thing on the river here is check call.
Who knows?
I don't know. Yeah,
It's kind of a block bet. It is like a little bit of a block bet size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who would like to, it's 3:23. We can be done with my pain. Last hand, because we always have to end on a hand that I play.
Ideally not one where there's significant pain, but that's
No,
not an
that's-
option today.
No, not an option.
All right,
Uh,
so you get to, why don't you narrate it as you are
right.
the
I'll
hero
do
with
this
ace
again.
jack.
All right. Say, okay, so this is an easy raise pre-flop to 2.5 big blinds, unlike the last one. The fact that I've got 200 big blinds is irrelevant because nobody else has a deep stack. So this is still a 100 big blind hand. So we don't have to know anything about it. Shut up, Mike. You shut up and you die. All right, there's the raise. It should
Mike
fold
wants
around.
the well-constructed limping range.
It should fold around to the ace king, who should 3-bet me, and ace jack should call that 3-bet, I think, even though it's early position. Maybe it does some folding, but it's gonna do mostly calling. Oh no, he just calls. Okay, great.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, is a correct play of his. Ace king against the early position does a lot of not 3-betting.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, against the very first position, it's only a 25% raise. And against the second one, it's only a 50% raise. So under the gun raise, big blind, ace king, look at that. 28%.
Yeah, look at queen.
Against,
Look at
yeah.
queen.
yeah, against the second one, still only 50%. 43%. It doesn't get, it isn't until here that you even get a majority of raises. This is going to be like 75%. Start 50% again. I knew that. And then against the low jack, it's going to be pure. Right? Low jack? Yeah, it never goes to 75. It just goes pure against the low jack. Nope, it goes 75. Then it goes pure. Okay. I remembered that wrong. 25, 50, 50, 75 pure. So not as much as you think. So good on him. Maybe I'll flop an ace. No, just a straight draw. He checks. This is a good board for me compared to him. King, queen is a big bet board. I have a draw. It'd be nice if I had a spade, but it's still a draw. So I can bet here and I can bet big. And so I do. 4. And he calls.
The large
now I-
size typically goes away in your earlier positions.
Oh. Would you check that for me?
Yep.
Okay. I did not know that. And then he calls it, of course, so now I know the jig is up. There's the spade. I should give up now. I didn't pick up equity, and he did. I do. And now he has everything. Now he bets, and I fold. There we go. All right, let's take a look at the sizing on the flop with this lovely bit of ace jack.
Yeah, it's almost pure 33 with a little bit of 50.
Okay.
Let's see, where is it?
Okay, so the heuristic I was using was based on a sort of button versus big blind, and yeah. Let's take a look. We'll look at what the low jack does, and the same thing whether it maintains. Okay, so yeah, there's no 75s here on this board.
Yeah, and if you went from the button back, you'd get overbets, and then it starts to diminish as you go to earlier positions. All the bet sizings start to navigate towards small sizes.
Okay, let's take. Can we change it to the low jack? Just jump the low jack there and just see how it goes, and keep the same board. Oh my God.
So
Okay,
notice,
so they're starting to come
starts-
in at the starting to come in at the low jack, but not being prominent, but the 50 is super prominent.
Yep.
Okay,
And
good. I
then
had no idea. I had no idea.
And then as we get to later position, assume you're like the button here, you're gonna see red, you're gonna see over bets, 75s and 50s and 30s.
Right.
Yeah.
I assume it's because ranges are much more well-defined in this configuration, so there's less trash.
Yeah. Super polar.
Yeah.
Great. That's a really good thing to end on. That's a good thing to learn.
Yeah, it's a good session. Thank you, guys. So, Scotty, well, do you want to turn off?
Yeah, let's stop the recording. Anybody who stayed till now, why are you doing that? Come join us. We have space. See? There's 5 there. There's room for 6. Okay. Stop the recording.